I need it now. Alright, 100K. Why do I need 100K? I don't know. What do you ask? What do you wear clothes? Huh? Why do you wear clothes? What do you eat? Oh man, these soy boys. Well, I don't know what to answer. How to answer your questions. Why do I need 100K? No, I just need it. I just need it. Oh, what's up, James? Yeah, I need something to hang on the wall. I need something to hang on the wall. I need it. I need new decor. I need new decor. Fam. Alright, that was fast. Green all the way. Avalanche flag. Yes, sir. Game recognized game. Yeah, most of the suburb people they like rugby. Most of them suburban folks. This is a big Avalanche town, bro. Maybe even bigger than Nuggets. Big Avalanche town. All right, let's go drop off some pies. Jack Ma? Oh shit, Jack Ma, bro. Jack Ma went into hiding, dude. Jack Ma. Jack Ma? Jack Ma? Hopefully Jack Ma's gonna hook it up, huh? Jack Ma? It's just Jack M, it's not Jack Ma. Alright, that was a good so far the tip is 2, tip is 9. So 11, 20 or 4.4, 16 minutes. 16 minutes. 11, 20, 4.4. So, alright. Nope. On to the next. On to the next. Amazon DSP, brother. What's up, Amazon DSP, brother? Amazon DSP is people driving them blue vans. That's Amazon DSP.
Turn left onto Fairway Lane.
This place is nice. Amazon DSP, brother.
Continue on Fairway Lane. 3/4 of a
Yeah, that's what I was telling your girlfriend last night, Travels. Hey, Calvin. Caveman. Hey, Caveman, girlfriend, open your eyes, girl. That's what I was telling your girlfriend last night when she gave me some dome, Caveman. Caveman, girlfriend, open your eyes, girl. Hey, Caveman, girlfriend, open your eyes. Caveman, girlfriend. Shit. Take that, Caveman. Take that, take that. Take that, take that. Uh-huh. Take that, take that. Hey, Caveman girlfriend, open your eyes, girl. Shit. Take that. Take that. Uh-huh. Hey, Caveman girlfriend, open your eyes, girl. What you doing? Where you at? Where you, Caveman? Where'd you go, bro? Where'd you go, Caveman? Did you go high in the cave, bro? Did you go high in the cave or something? Hey, Caveman girlfriend.
Turn right onto South Platte Canyon.
Open your eyes, girl. Shit. Take that, Caveman. Oh, man. You gotta come back with some new shit, bro. You gotta come back with some new shit,
Turn
bro.
right onto South Platte Canyon Road.
Shit's like, I hear it like a million times on this live already, man.
Continue on South Platte Canyon Road and up and down.
Woo. Alright, that first one was a banger. First one was a certified banger. Hopefully we're gonna get some more. Caveman girlfriend, open your eyes, girl. Come on. Where you at, Caveman? Oh, what's up, Dave? What's up, Dave?
Continue straight onto South Willow Road.
Yeah, I'm just gonna do all food delivery tonight, huh? No advance, bro. Food delivery exclusive. Caveman girlfriend, come on, girl. Open your eyes.
Continue straight onto South Willow Road.
Where you at, Caveman? Yeah, bro.
Continue on South Willow Road.
What's up at this sushi place?
Cheese from West Palm South to Willow Road.
Now let me say I'm the biggest hater. I hate the way that you walk, the way that you talk. I hate the way that you dress. I hate the way that you sneak this. If I catch flight, let's go be direct. We hate the bitches you fuck, cause they confuse themselves. Well, now let me say I'm the biggest hater. I hate the way that you walk, the way that you talk. I hate the way that you dress. I hate the way that you sneak this. If I catch flight, let's go be direct. We hate the bitches you fuck, cause they confuse themselves. Well, now let me say I'm the
You really need creative people at the top because they are the entrepreneurial types, and those people are super hyper valuable and they're very rare, but it's also very difficult.
It's Nate Bargatze.
Hi, Kathy Mitchell here with my news.
Inflation is just like alcoholism. In both cases, when you start drinking or when you start printing too much money, the good effects come first, and the bad effects only come later. That's why, in both cases, there's a strong temptation to overdo it, to drink too much and to print too much money. When it comes to the cure, it's the other way around. When you stop drinking or when you stop printing money, the bad effects come first, and the good effects only come later. That's why it's so hard to persist with the cure. Inflation is just like alcoholism. In both cases, when you start drinking or when you start printing too much money, the good effects come first, and the bad effects only come later. That's why, in both cases, there's a strong temptation to overdo it, to drink too much and to print too much money. When it comes to the cure, it's the other way around. When you stop drinking or when you stop printing money, the bad effects come first, and the good effects only come later. That's why it's so hard to persist with the cure.
Walt Disney died before Walt Disney World ever opened, so we never saw it. On the day of the grand opening, some of the executives, along with his brother, they walked around that little circle, you know, where the trolley goes around, and they were walking down Main Street, and one executive said to the other, "It's such a shame and a tragedy that Walt never saw this." And his brother said, "He did see it. That's why it's here. You and I see a muddy, dangerous mess. The architect, the general contractor, see the finished product. Let's make progress and cooperate with that destination. Everything God starts, He finishes. I want to be working toward that destination that's guaranteed to succeed." Walt Disney died.
The guy's here to fix the leak on your solid gold faucet.
Send him in.
This place looks like the Liberace Museum.
Hey, I'm the princess. You're in my office. Treat me with respect.
Who did you decorate it? Saddam Hussein?
I'll have you know this is all very classy stuff. And that painted the tiger and the one that has got me laid on numerous occasions.
I didn't know gay dudes like tiger paintings.
Hey, you've crossed the line. I've killed people for less.
Looks like you killed a squirrel to me and put it right on top of your head.
You're one to talk. Your hair looks exactly like mine.
Yeah, except my hair's supposed to look like this. I'm a janitor.
The guy's here to fix the leak on your solid gold faucet.
Send him in.
This place looks like the Liberace Museum.
And here's the thing. Americans do not understand statistics. They really don't. Check this out. These are true headlines. I couldn't even make these up. This is true. Statistics show that teen pregnancy drops off significantly after age 25. That is shocking. I would have thought it dropped off, I don't know, around 20 I would have guessed. Pretty much down to zero, but no, it hangs on for 5 more years. Here's some other ones. We hate masks, say 4 in 10, a majority of Americans. Clearly, they're not in a STEM program. Death is the nation's top killer. Really? Did we need a study for that? Homicide victims rarely talk to police. Have they been trying to get them information? Rub them up, Bob. Who the hell killed you, buddy? You're not helping anybody here. And here's the thing. Americans do not understand statistics. They really don't. Check this out. These are true headlines. I couldn't even make these up. This is true. Statistics show that teen pregnancy drops off significantly after age 25. That is shocking. I would have thought it dropped off, I don't know, around 20 I would have guessed. Pretty much down to zero, but no, it hangs on for 5 more years. Here's some other ones. We hate masks, say 4 in 10, a majority of Americans. Clearly, they're not in a STEM program. Death is the nation's top killer. Really? Did we need a study for that? Homicide victims rarely talk to police. Have they been trying to get them information? Rub them up, Bob. Who the hell killed you, buddy?
Hey, Kidman, guys. Come on, Kidman. Where'd you go, Kidman? Where'd you go? 2 mil? 2 mil. Yo, 2 mil. girlfriend, open your eyes. Bro's girlfriend, open your eyes, girl. Okay, Hope. Okay, Hope. Bye-bye, Hope. Bye, Hope. Bye, Hope. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Bye, Hope. What's up, Avery? You don't have to be black to be a jazz swag. You ain't gotta be black to have swag, right? You ain't gotta be black to have swag. Who's that dude that said that? Huh? Jacob. Jacob. Are you mad because you ain't got no swag, Jacob? Oh, man, you ain't gotta be black to have swag, bro. These fools, man. You mad because you ain't got no swag? Jacob? Is that why you're mad, Jacob? You're mad because your girl left you for a DoorDash driver? Jacob? Is that why you're mad, Jacob? Oh, man, this was some lame, bro. Lame ass mofo, huh? I don't know, Avery. Google me. Google me. You might find out. Google. Google side hustle addict to me. Vietnamese. Proud to be Vietnamese too. No, we can't do this shit. Allegedly, your girlfriend gave me some head last night too, real. Allegedly, your girl gave me some head last night too, real. Allegedly, your girl gave me some dope last night too, real. Nah, bro. Your blow up dog doesn't count too, real. Your blow up dog doesn't count, bro. Whatever you do with that blow up dog doesn't count too, real. Yeah. You're tripping too, real. You're tripping, bro. You're still gonna have sex with a blow up dog thing as a human, bro. You need to stop that shit, bro. Having sex with a blow up dog doesn't count too, real. That shit don't count, bro. A Colorado sweat, baby. I don't think so, too, real. I don't think so, bro. Who is she? The blow up dog? That don't make sense, too, real. Who the hell is she? I didn't know your blow up dog can talk, bro. I didn't know your blow up dog can talk, too, real. Are you smoking that good? Are you smoking that good? Bye-bye, too, real. Come back tomorrow. Bye-bye. Hey, Siri, what's the avalanche score? Hey, Siri, what is the avalanche score? Come on, Siri. Hey, Siri, what's the avalanche score? Man, Siri's not working today, guys. All right. Siri's not working today, bro. Siri's mad at me. She mad. It's getting chilly for a minute. Hey, Siri, what is the current wind chill?
The wind chill is currently 49 degrees Fahrenheit.
49, all right. Feels pretty cold. That's something? Oh, shit. Nah, just boo-boo, bro. Look at this. Hell no. You know they're doing that shit, boy. Going out to A-Town, no tip, bro. Is that the Air Force Base? A-Town, no tip. Do not go to A-Town. A-Town is Aurora. A-Town is Denver. The other A-Town is Havana. Do not go to A-Town, fam. That's my wife, bro. That's my wife. A lot of these soy boys always do that. When they miss me, they go look at my profile picture and they can do that. The one in the profile picture is my wife. The soy boys always do this every night, man. Man, you're so lame. Soy boys! Get your money up, bro. Get your money up. Maybe you can get a girlfriend. Soy boys! Get your money up, bro. Get your money up. What are you gonna wear a ring for, bro? You're gonna wear a ring just to wear a ring? Right hand, left hand. Right, left. Yes, it is. Bigfoot country, baby. Bigfoot country. I don't think these fucking soy boys know what a ring is anyways. I don't think they know what the meaning of a ring. They don't fucking know, bro. Ah, nothing for real, bro. But all my out-town people love hockey. Apparently not. I've been wearing this for, I don't know, man, since 2018, bro. I only took it out for a month or so. My fingers got fat at one point. My fingers got fat. Does Bigfoot play hockey? I don't know, he might. I don't know where he plays, bro. It's out. Out. I don't know what they said earlier. Out. But it's too late to apologize. I said it's too late. Are you one Republic? Out. I mean, I can accept on this one Republic, bro. You're not one Republic, don't apologize, bro. Don't do that, bro. Are you one Republic? Out. I said it's too late to apologize. Too late. One Republic, huh? What are you apologizing for? Man, you're too emotional, bro. You're too emotional, out. I don't know, I'll let you figure it out, Austin. Shout out to my dude, Austin. That song was badass, bro. That was when the iPhone first came out. Oh, I think the song came out. How about you on the iPhone? One Republic apologized? iPhone, first ever iPhone, right? That shit was dope. The one with Timbaland. The Timbaland remix. The original one sucks. That shit was fire, bro. Apologize. Yep. 2008-ish, I think. Yep. Shit was dope. I said it's too late to apologize.
So the people that can make the company more successful are sales and marketing people, and they end up running the companies. And the product people get driven out of the decision-making forums. And the companies forget what it means to make great products. It sort of the product sensibility and the product genius that brought them to that monopolistic position gets rotted out by people running these companies who have no conception of a good product versus a bad product. They have no conception of the craftsmanship that's required to take a good idea and turn it into a good product. And they really have no feeling in their hearts, usually, about wanting to really help the customers. So the people that can make the company more successful are sales and marketing people, and they end up running the companies. And the product people...
Now let me say I'm the biggest hater. I hate the way that
This is the greatest roller coaster on earth. The ride sports a 3,610-foot layout and features an absolutely terrifying 200-foot face-first drop.
It was probably the most scared I've ever been on a roller coaster. I was more nervous about the somersaulting than anything. And to my surprise, this thing just puts you face down, then drops you 200 feet, and then has the audacity to flip you forward at the bottom of it. And I will never forget that gut punch I felt at the bottom of that 215-foot drop.
I did not know the seats flipped. When I went down that first drop and my seat moved, I was like, what the hell? And I legitimately thought the coaster had broke and I was about to die. So I was screaming literally for my life because I thought I was like, this is how it ends. I'm going to die at Six Flags. What a horrible, horrible way to go. Not even at Disney. This is...
Four years ago, in the heart of 2020, I began working on a secret project that stemmed from a casual conversation that I had in Huntington Beach, California, on a cloudy Thursday afternoon. For various reasons, I don't want to tell you all what the movie is called or what it's about, but I will tell you that the months and even years after my strange, almost otherworldly SoCal encounter were marked by journalistic obsession and a first-person deep dive into a rabbit hole of clues and conspiracy theories, all in the name of locating and confronting the arch nemesis of an interview subject who shall not be named. Once I had gathered over 300 hours of footage and digitized VHS tapes, I became so intolerably fixated on this project that I myself recognized that I was teetering on the edge of insanity. So I gave Saddam the hard drive containing the nearly complete movie and all of its video files and told him to keep it far away from me, totally out of sight and off the grid, until the time is right. And now apparently...
Hey, it's time.
Alright, well, I almost fucking lost my mind filming that movie, so... Obviously, I disposed of it for good reason.
I got the coordinates to the movie. It's a top secret location, and I've kept it safe for you for 3 or 4 years, and it's time.
You think so?
Yes, sir.
Tickets for our new movie, Untitled Andrew Callahan Film, are available at www.channel5.news.
Shit, I can do some sparking shot. She's a slow nigga, bro. Look at this guy. She's whack. I can't like copyright music, bro. Frank, one dance monkey to get paid. I do all the work. In only 6 seconds to get paid. Fuck that shit. You wanna go fast with me? You wanna make a way to me? Just use the people. You can reach to the
class. The people who are going to be violated the most are going to be service workers and the other class. It incentivizes dishonesty at scale. I did not manage my relationship well. No, I cheated. America's Got Talent and MasterChef rejected him. TikTok censored him. The viewers, saved him. And now over 10 billion of you follow Scumbag Dad for his critiques against fake social media content, helping him become a full-time creator. Today, he shares takes on Sniper, XQC, and Mr. Beast, as well as why station life is never okay, how to live a moral life in a fake world, and how his personal relationships drove him to become a better person. I found myself constantly going against what I consider to be disingenuous content. And the last time we talked a lot about like exploitative content and weird people who don't present themselves authentically, but still rack up millions and millions of views and presumably a lot of money through this. And what I've sort of realized is that I'm not really fighting individuals. I'm going against what I think is like a major cultural shift. I think what's happened is that the Mr. Beast generation is growing older and they want to be celebrities. I'm not saying I dislike Mr. Beast, but what has happened is throughout most of history, celebrities had to accomplish something through exceptional skill. So you had to be a good sports player, or great pianist, or singer, or dancer, whatever. You had to demonstrate presumably a certain amount of skill. And with YouTube, with the Mr. Beast formula, they've introduced a way to become famous, essentially by co-opting your content of other people, by creating scenarios that rely on other people's reactions to your content rather than your creation. One of Mr. Beast's first incredibly hard videos was his name came random almost out. And that reaction, that fan reaction became one of the cornerstones of his entire career. And what people realize when you grow up with this kind of content, you don't think, oh, I've got to become a better singer, I've got to become a dancer and be famous. You start to think, I've got to come up with another way to make other people the focus of my video. And there are moral ways to do this. There are ways that are at least morally right, and then there are ways of doing that that are, in my opinion, objectively evil. And for as much as Mr. Beast has done to like promote charity and giving and sort of like promote positivity, a lot of bad actors can take elements of that equation and apply it in a very selfish way to fool the audience into giving them money and thinking they're a nice guy. It's interesting. You mentioned that in previous age of celebrity, you had accomplished something real world. Worthy. Hey, I'm an Olympic swimmer. Hey, I'm a Michelin star chef. Well, let's talk about Hollywood actors and actresses. In a way, they're also just doing content, putting themselves in inauthentic situations that feel authentic and realish, looking for reactions from people around. What's the difference between them versus the new generation who are doing the same thing just on the street with a handheld camera? So I feel like accountability is one of the big answers to that question. When Leonardo DiCaprio is in the movie Titanic, he is acting. There is no indication to the viewer that this really happened. It's shot in amazing quality. It's advertised as a piece of fiction put together by improvement. Based on historical fact, though, in this case of Titanic, there's an element of truthiness. This element of truthiness, but they never say this actually happened. Whereas the new generation, with their ability to sort of film everything in to go out on the street, is that they're blending the fictional world with the real world, and they're selling an idea that this really happened. When it's anything but a movie about a disabled kid who gets discovered by an influencer, and as a result, they get to meet their favorite drummer, you would watch it as a movie, and your emotional impact would be probably not that much because it's presented to you as a work of fiction. But then if I film it with a cell phone, script the entire thing, and pretend like it's real, the audience's emotional investment is much higher because they think that this thing really happened. So the difference between a Hollywood actor crafting a scene and the difference between an influencer crafting a scene is that one of them lets you know that it was never real, but the other one will let you think it's real to increase your level of interest and your engagement, even if maybe it's honest. It's fascinating. Recently, Michael Lewis wrote this book called The Blind Side. A movie was produced off it. Sandra Bullock starred in it, and it's this very heartwarming story where you spoke about, oh, I created a story about a disabled person being picked up by an influencer. The Blind Side is about a person of color who is plucked out of what the movie implies, but in a much more difficult, hard life, into the bosom and warm embraces of a white family who sponsor him and he becomes a professional NFL football player. Very sentimental movie. The football player that the movie was based off recently came out and said it's all bullshit. The author made this up. I was exploited by that family and is currently the star. The protagonist of The Blind Side is suing the family depicted in that movie who took him in, saying that they actually withheld his rights. We obviously see what's wrong with that scenario, right? Like when you present a supposedly true story as fiction, you trick the audience into trusting you. You trick them into opening up their wallets and giving you money. So I think that's a really excellent example of how Hollywood, or sort of like a manipulative person, can take the idea of a true story and use it to profit. And it's becoming, sadly, it's becoming easier and easier to trick people with the proliferation of TikTok, with the proliferation of, what they call kindness influencers. It's so much easier to fake a story about charity or about goodness than it is to create a Hollywood picture about the same thing. You can take any actor or any situation and make it into like a very darn man. We talked about Darn Man last time. You can make it into this very heartwarming story with very, very, very little effort, very little resources. When we make Titanic, one of the big conversations I have is people say, oh, we get mad when people fake scenarios on the street, but why are we mad at movies? And I'm like, guys, Titanic was not a documentary. Die Hard was not a snuff film. If I told you I just saw 9 people get a video, you'd be like, oh my god, that's horrible. And then I showed you Die Hard with Bruce Willis, you would say, oh, of course people got you. You have no emotional reaction because you knew it was Hollywood. Whereas if I show you a video of like war footage where people actually, presumably your emotional engagement is much higher. You can't believe this monstrous thing actually happened. And that's what I try to explain to people is that if a situation is faked to improve your emotional engagement, then it is not the same as a Hollywood movie. You know what I mean? You can separate that with yourself, but if you knew that scene was scripted when you first saw it, you wouldn't cry, you wouldn't be sad about it because you know all those actors are fine. You know it was just special effects. And I feel like in a way we're regressing as a result of it. It's almost a concern from the storyteller or filmmaker that, hey, the suspension of disbelief, less suspension is a lot of work. That's going to get in the way of the message I'm trying to tell. So let's not worry about suspending you. It's the person that's just believe it's real. And I'm going to expand on your point. The same thing you said initially in the last podcast spoke about individuals. Now you're seeing this in broader scene. I think everyone now these days, not just authors and filmmakers, opportunities is thinking more about how can I share stories emotionally truthful more than anything. And I think there's different levels of this manipulation. So we talked a bit about The Blind Side of Michael Lewis. I put that on what I call the Rashomon level of deception. Rashomon's movie player is a piece of Japanese cinematic art where an incident occurs and it's tried 5 different ways by 5 different people. Each person genuinely believes the story that they saw. And folks are back to Michael Lewis said, that you realize the story that the Blind Side was manipulated, not true. In fact, he's literally suing the family that adopted Michael. So basically, that's not how I do it. It was, I don't think that his story is right. My story is the right one. My opinion is the right one. There's a level beyond that, though, where they know it's not true. They acknowledge it's not true. They think it's worth it to see the story. And I'm an example of not losing it. Look at Samanage, Patriot Act. Good example. Samanage, what do you think about that Samanage situation? His stand-up is extremely personal. He's shared growing up as a person of color in the post-9/11 era, how FBI agents would infiltrate his place of worship to try and trick him, and when he decided to play around and say, I want to be a pilot, they apparently threw him in his car and tried to arrest him. And after doing stand-up sound, the Patriot Act was nailed, apparently, by primary substance. One of his wife said, I don't care if you're going to tell EVP, but it's risk. You shares the story as a person of color, asking a white girl out to tomorrow, only to be ghosted by the handsome Robin Caesar. And all of this is not true. And unlike Michael Lewis, who said, oh, well, there are different stories and movies, and mine is the one I believe is true, Simon openly admits 30% of this is all made up. Now, maybe later, he's dismissed. People is fairly neutral, which justifies saying the messages Bill was conveying are so important. It's worth it.
I disagree. I think that if you have to go out of your way to create fake stories about oppression, then you're just not that good a storyteller. You're working to embed stereotypes biases more deeply into our society. And what you're doing will be a positive for you. It will be a net negative for society. So trust me. I had a conversation recently where I compared Hassan Minaj to Anthony Jeselnik, who's one of my favorite stand-up comedians. And Anthony Jeselnik, when he tells a story, there is the punchline is so over the top that you know it's a lie. Like there's constant wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Like if you believe Anthony Jeselnik stories, you are very stupid. You know, because that is truly meant to be stand-up comedy. Whereas Hassan Minaj is not. It's not difficult for him to make up a story about oppression because we want to believe it's true. Who would make up a story like that? What kind of monster would make up a story about racism negatively affecting his life? It's just so far from any moral grounding. We come to the Joey Sal's car. You know, just to mention the Joey Sal's trunk car is a social experiment where he drove a car.
So I agree with you. Just claim it. It's okay. What terrifies me about this broader ship is that we started in advocating for movies. We're in an age where there's just so much of us going on. There's so little centralized trusted sources that the algorithm starts what you see. You have every incentive to try and stand out and outwit and do something crazy. And in a way, Mr. Beast started with all these sensationalizing attention, except they're generally true
So if Mr. Beast really did edit someone out entirely, then yeah, he's lying to the audience, and that defies his initial MO. It doesn't make him a horrible person. I mean, if there's a huge pattern of this, then yes, he is deceiving his audience, and his image will be tainted. If it's a one-off explanation, we can understand, like they're probably dealing with their consequences. When judging a creator and deciding if they're moral or not, I don't think it's right to judge them on just one video, because people can still make mistakes. Back, I think it's important to look at patterns. Unless they commit a crime,
Turn right onto Loop Street.
all the time, and nobody's killed all the time. A couple of people asked him, throughout somebody's career, can it escape that someone's always lying? So for instance, Mr. Beast. If we find
Continue for half a mile.
the greatest brand, I think it's going to have financial impacts on him. But I feel like he's big enough, he has so many fans, he has so much trust, that if he manages this well, and he will even if it gets hard, cancellation doesn't really exist. The idea that once you have followers, you can't really be in that hard unless you commit a crime or do something important in your life. Even mental, just another guy who used tweets points out, he was outed for being really creepy, just really crazy. We can always make fun of men for getting over man and he did that. He asked OnlyFans models to do a podcast, but the podcast was just a way to lure them in to hang out. Then an hour before the podcast, he would propose them, sexually. And when they rejected him, he would insult them, we don't cheer ugly, whatever. And so when one girl came out, stayed out, and so he had all this apology. And I was expecting, like, all right, this guy's done his content is trash, he's gonna experience a hit off this. But after a couple weeks, the audience forgot. He's got enough followers who just sort of like watching him play the tweets, and now seems like he's doing just fine. So Mr. Beast, like, even if this turns out really bad for him, he's still got such power and such influence that he can afford to lose a couple followers because he's gaining so many more each day.
It really goes to like the structural incentives, the kind of systems, that's the algorithm. Not only you feel pressure to make something sensational and stand out, which Mr. Beast generally is actually doing, and many other people, as I said, 9,000 burgers, 10 burgers. There's incentive to then not really change any. Sniper Wolf is a great example. Sniper Wolf got in a lot of trouble for Doxing Jack's films, or I suppose Judge Jack's films. And her views are fine.
Yeah, she's fine.
Yeah.
There's no reason for her to change because she's not going to experience any long-term financial ramifications. And that's, unfortunately or fortunately, that's simply the world we live in now, is that people don't realize that there's 8 billion other creators you can give your time and attention to. If I'm a Sniper Wolf fan and I find out she's doing all this stuff, blocking her and following other people who have objectively more talent is going to make my life better. But why? We're so lazy. We're so like, we so don't care. A lot of people, once Sniper Wolf just revealed that she was just sort of a bad person, a lot of responses were like, yeah.
In 600 feet, turn right onto Michelson Drive. In 600 feet, turn right onto Michelson Drive. Take the next right onto Michelson Drive, then turn right onto Jamboree Road. Continue for 3/4 of a mile. Take the next left, then turn left. Turn right onto Carlson Avenue. In 100 feet, turn right onto Carlson Avenue. Take the next right onto Carlson Avenue. In 1,000 feet, turn right onto Michelson Drive.
like, yeah, well, she's hot though. Yeah, well, she bad. Yeah, well, I like her content, which is so insane to me because the folks who are saying this are the masses of people who don't make content. They don't understand how difficult it is to go viral. They don't understand how annoying and insulting it is when someone takes your video, no credit at all, reposts it, and makes 10 times more money than you did with that video. It's so crazy because it's like the social media is the only area of the world that this works.
Take the next right onto Michelson Drive, then turn right onto Jamboree Road.
I design a house, and a more powerful architect puts my house in their portfolio. I can sue them. I can be like, you didn't do that. You're advertising my house is yours. F you. Like every other industry in the world, apart from the directly creative ones, if you steal someone's stuff, there are ways that the original creator can get you. Whereas the audience of social media these days, they're so passive and so lackadaisical that if Sniper Wolf makes 30 times the amount of money that I did with my video with no credit, they just don't care. If I post copyrighted music on YouTube flags it, and I don't get any money from that. As it should be, right? If I took that person's music without their permission, I understand that that person needs money. Whereas I just wholesale take somebody's video and react to it with my face on the bottom, I can make just as much money, if not more, than the original creator. That's wrong. I've even made fun of this before. I took a guy who just put his face at the bottom of a viral video, and I put my face over his face, and I got more views than him, and I made money off that video. And even though I'm just as gross for doing it, I'm trying to point out to the audience that, like, this is a very stupid thing. What is it, XQC? He's one of the most popular Twitch streamers. We just watch his TikToks. In a way, it makes sense. It's a tale as old as time. Back in the day, there was eBaum's World, and then iFunny. Like, throughout history, the aggregators will always outperform the individual creators because they don't respect the individual creators. Lad Bible, Barstool Sports, like all of these groups, whether you like them or not, they take from others under the guise of curation, and they make astounding profits because they don't need to take any time making the work, and the audience, being inherently lazy, doesn't care. They'd rather just sign on to a website that gives them the funniest stuff ever, and even if that website only pays a paltry sum to the influencers. Barstool Sports and Lad Bible have hit me up a dozen times. And I just say, look, give me some money. And they're like, nah, we're not authorized for that. Why not? There's an ad playing right under my video on your channel. You mean to tell me you can't spare $50, $100? And the truth is that they don't need to. They can just move on to the next influencer. They can move on to somebody without as much social media knowledge and just keep taking and taking and taking. And people think I'm joking. They're like, oh, I want to start a TikTok account. I want to do this. And they're like, how can I grow as fast as I can? And I say, look, you want to grow faster than me? You want to make more money than me? Just use other people. Just react to other people's content, film strangers on the street. There was a girl I was speaking to recently, and she wanted to start a makeup channel. And she's like, I want to start a TikTok. How can I make money at this? I'm like, well, your makeup work is good. You could just show before and afters of your work. But if you really want to do this, you should do makeovers to homeless people. And she was appalled. She was like, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to walk up to
In 1,000 feet, make a U-turn at Prince.
I get that.
Head to your pickup at YGF Malatang Yongguo Fu Malatang Irvine.
This woman on the street, she probably doesn't have her hair and makeup done. So the effect of your makeover will be 1,000 times better.
Turn left on Michelson Drive.
You just need to have the stomach for approaching a homeless person. You need to have the stomach.
Use the second from the left lane to turn left onto Michelson Drive. In 800 feet, turn right onto Jamboree Road.
Turn left on Jamboree Road using the left 2 lanes.
right onto Jamboree Road.
I need to, we need to plan a day around it. It's not easy.
Turn left on Jamboree Road.
When it's totally
In a quarter mile, slide right onto the I-405 North San Diego Freeway ramp.
Target or my local store. Strap
Take the next right onto Jamboree Road.
Post my video. It takes a lot less planning if you don't care about the subject. And so in conclusion, the makeup artist was a little appalled, but everyone else at the table, knowing my content better, they're like, yeah, what he's saying is dumb, but you will move faster if you are more exploitative of service workers and homeless people.
We've unleashed Pandora's box because the more people who follow that path, the more people see it. And the baseline for what is morally acceptable versus what isn't, it keeps shifting because you think to yourself, oh, maybe 10 years ago, these concepts would be like, oh, but now you're like, we're so used to seeing, hey, what do you do for a living? Hey, random person on the street. It's just becoming, oh, yeah, of course I would do this.
Correct. That is what we've been progress on this
In a quarter mile, turn right onto Pond Drive.
shift. So I think when my son grows up in his generation, everyone is going to be constantly aware of the potential for cameras, which may be a good thing, but at the end of the day, the people who are going to be violated the most are going to be service workers and the underclass at the end of the day, because they have no recourse.
Turn right onto Pond Drive, then turn left.
He films people without their knowledge. He knows that they really don't put their parts away. And I said, Cardinark, I understand why people wouldn't like Cardinark.
Turn left, then turn right.
In a quarter mile, turn left onto Von Carmen Avenue.
They're not desperate. That person has the ability to walk away and exit the scene. Cardinark has no legal grounds over them. It's a little goofy.
Turn right, then pick up on the right.
Get away. Whereas a homeless guy who's sleeping in his tent, you're walking up to his house. If he's
Take the next right, then turn left onto Teller Avenue.
has nowhere else to go. The park is his home. So your ability, so it's definitely Cardinark, he may not be morally the best person, but he's still going after subjects with the ability to defend themselves. The lawn guys are similar. They knock on somebody's door, can I mow your lawn? That person has the ability to close the door and not deal with it. But a Target employee, Starbucks barista, a waitress, their job is to deal with that person. So whether you're tipping them $1,000 or whether you're pulling a prank on them, you're still using them as a target. And so many people do not want to be targets. I did this. I actually strapped a camera to my car and I went into a couple of these restaurants and I didn't. Unless you actually tried to film in public, no idea how many people hate it. I film in public all the time, and most of the time I do my best to avoid.
Turn right, then turn left onto Teller Avenue.
In front of the camera will tap me on the shoulder, be like, I don't want to be in this. Even friends of mine, I'll film like my son, like out at the park, and he's like, oh, you gonna put that on TikTok? I'll be like, yeah. He's like, oh, I don't want to be in this. You can't understand that unless you've done it. So to all the people who are on the side of these guys, I always say, look, you can settle this really easily. Grab the camera, grab the cell phone, just try it once. It'll only cost you $1. You see what happens. And I will tell you that they might respond well, but the odds of them responding well are much lower than what you think.
It's a reminder too, because you mentioned since we did our last podcast, you are now a full-time creator.
I would say I work 3 weeks a month as a creator and 1 week a month as an artist still. Since the last time we spoke, now I live much more of a life. I used to be an artist for 3 weeks a month and create a 4 week month. Now I've taken down my hours in the office, and now I'm mostly a creator.
Moved to LA.
So we live out in the suburbs. Honestly, we're really happy. LA's a great place. I've met amazing people here. It's been extraordinarily positive.
I think that I bring that up because your point was, imagine, wow, there are a lot of people out there who don't want to be filmed. Because in LA, everyone's willing to be filmed. It's basically assumed that there's going to be cameras around. To your point, you imagine a world where your son grows up and everyone's looking out for cameras. It feels like that. I remember one of the first times I came to LA to meet with a creator friend of mine. We went and got tacos, and he had his camera with him. He went and took his camera and he set it on the table next to us and just left the camera there. And I was new to this world, coming as a quote-unquote person with a real world shot, as you were as an artist. I wasn't accustomed to this, so I didn't ask him about it. And later I saw he posted a vlog of the two of us sitting and getting tacos. And I was like, I'm not opposed to this. I am surprised. Why am I surprised? He never asked me if it was okay to film, but because in his mind, it's so clear in this LA world. If I'm holding a camera, he wasn't trying to hide it. I'm holding a camera very visibly, and I set it in front of us. Obviously, I'm filming it. Now both of us have crossed over from that real world experience, which by the way, a lot of creators don't have. A lot of creators, they're young and they grow into this. This is the only world they've ever known. That's why I think some of their sense of boundaries is a little bit different. You are now in this creator world. And for yourself, you still have the previous context where you know, oh hey, this is a normal and it's weird bad, and a lot of people don't. What I also think about, there's a quote from a biologist named E.O. Wilson. He says that we have Paleolithic minds, medieval institutions, and godlike technology. It is so much easier for us ever to now film and record content and put it out there. And as you said, we are lazy. That's why Snipe will saw so many views, so many viewers. And the technology is just going to get better and better. The more minute, it's just as easy as possible.
I feel like the real moral question with that subject is going to be how far do you take it? Once AI is good enough, and I think that's like 8, 10 years out, where the AI actors and the AI filming is going to be indistinguishable from people. What happens when I decide to give to AI films? You know what I mean? If we don't care, I find that one of the inconsistencies in this whole genre is we have to figure out where we draw the line between authenticity and non-authenticity. You know, between faking it and non-faking it. And I don't know if there is an answer, to be honest with you. You know, like the people who defend fake pranks, and the people who defend fake kindness content, they always say, well, you're trying to inspire others to do
There's a message, motivation.
But I think that message is actually bad. I think for the few people who may be inspired to do good, you're inspiring more people to lie. You're inspiring more people to film strangers. A YouTuber got shot recently. I'm not sure if you saw that, but this guy got shot because he was doing a prank on just a regular guy. And the context of that is super interesting because the person who did the shooting was a DoorDash driver. The DoorDash drivers get robbed a lot. So of course he's carrying, right? So he's carrying something valuable. He knows DoorDash drivers get robbed. Someone bigger than him walks up to him in the mall, starts filming him. No context at all. There's 3 people surrounding him. He feels threatened. He starts to walk away. They follow him, and then he shoots the guy. What we're not understanding is that the YouTuber is being brought up in this Mr. Beast generation, where he sees everybody as content, because he's not funny. He's not a good person. He's not good at directing, acting, singing, swimming. But he sees so many people on camera. I try to make this point that the YouTuber is trying to make money off the guy. You know, so he will make more money the more embarrassed the subject is. He wanted to intimidate him. He wanted to make him look bad because then the YouTuber could profit off it. It's not like a mugging, but in a way it's a type of robbery. He's robbing, he's taking that man's image and his voice without his permission in an attempt to make profit. I feel like that's another thing this generation is sort of not seeing, is that not all work is swinging the camera. Work also occurs in the form of using your image and your voice. You know, if an Instagram model takes one picture in 5 seconds with, you know, lipstick brand sponsoring her, she made $30,000 to $50,000 and it took her seconds. Is that work? I would say yes. Work is anything you offer to another that is valuable. You know what I mean? This podcast is work. It's valuable. I think people aren't really understanding that the value of work isn't just, you know, building a house. It's not correct. The value of work is not just physical. So when you walk up to someone with a hidden camera, or even a visible camera, if your plan is to make profit off that, you are making that person work whether they agree to it or not. They are making profit for you because you are co-opting their image, you're co-opting their voice, and you are going to make a profit off them. Now, if you decide to share a fair amount of that profit with them, that's kind of fair play. But if your intention is not to do that, then you are exploiting them for their work. And that's, you know, again, it's so hard to make young people understand this because it takes so many more levels of understanding. It basically tries to drag them out of the content holder and try to say, like, look, when an influencer buys a taco for a homeless guy, they spend $2, $3 on the taco, and they give the taco to that homeless man. But the reason why you're emotionally engaged is because that homeless man has now given his voice, his look, his story to that influencer for profit. And even though you may not think it's work, because he's not swinging a hammer, it is work.
So you finish your question then. Say it's AI homeless guy. Is that now better because you're not exploiting and robbing a person of their likeness? You're just using AI generated content.
I would say it's just as bad because now you're deceiving the audience. That's a good question. You're deceiving the audience because you're making them think you're a good person when in fact you've staged an entire script made to look.
You're still robbing the audience.
Correct. Correct. I always ask people this when a lot of things happen, and I'm not saying I'm perfect, but I'm definitely refining my moral stance. And I feel like if you don't know whether or not something's moral, you should ask yourself 2 questions. One, what does the pitch meeting for this look like? Imagine a boardroom of executives.
Head to your drop-off at 2604 Sullivan.
The subject or the audience. So in the AI situation, imagine that boardroom. All right, here's what we're going to do. If I buy 30 tacos, we're going to give the tacos to an animation of a homeless guy who's going to cry and say he's got cancer. So that person doesn't exist. But the audience will think he exists. So now obviously that sounds dystopian, what I just said. But now who's being deceived? Well, the audience is being deceived. I'm lying to them in the sense that now they believe someone got help.
A false image of the world is being imprinted on the audience.
Correct. The audience being deceived is like a major element of that. And I feel like with a lot, like that's where we're losing our moral ground. Because, you know, imagine that boardroom again. We're going to go back to the line about quantity. Imagine the boardroom. Okay, guys, we want to tell everyone we're going to give out 10,000 meals to the homeless. That's great. But check it out. We want to save money, so we're going to give out 1 meal to the homeless. Sounds dystopian, right? So already we've got a dystopian sounding business meeting. And now who's being deceived? Okay, well, the audience is being deceived. So morally bad. Whereas if I say, okay, what we're going to do is we're going to give out 10,000 tacos to the homeless. We're actually going to buy 10,000 tacos to the homeless. And we're going to blur their faces to protect their privacy. That doesn't sound like a dystopian meeting to you, does it? Or maybe it does.
Signs of way.
Exactly. So there's a lot of gray area, a lot of subtleties, and it has to be on a case-by-case basis. And then, you know, if we blur the faces and we actually buy the thing, we're not deceiving the audience. This is what we actually the audience that we don't know his name, we're going to give him a surprise. Well, now the audience is going to see, they've already knew the subject. And I'll do one last rant about this, and then talk about something else. But I think one of the biggest stories to hit in the last year regarding this was one that I think is very interesting. An influencer named It's Sozer, I believe. His name is Sam. He brought a kid with cancer to meet Travis Barker. Wow. And in the video, he approaches the father and says, "I don't have any money. You have anything for me?" The father hands him $100. The influencer's got a magic stick, gives him a drumstick. This stick is Travis Barker, and it's very magical meaning. The kid ended up passing away a little while later. But that was not the first time they met. Sam had seen the subject on television months before. He had contacted the kid. He had to create the video of his ill and wanted Travis Barker. And then the influencer reached out to Travis Barker's 17-year-old daughter. And then the daughter shows Travis Barker the video, and then Travis Barker says, "Set up a meeting." So they set up a meeting, right? And all this is in news articles. This is not me just making this up. So they set up a meeting, but before the meeting, the influencer tells the dad, "Look, we got to do this little play. I have to walk up to you. I have to pretend to not have any money. You have to give me $100. Me making here." It's a very touching story. But it was a hire. When Sam saw that kid, on television the first time, he said, I want to find a way to hire his family, put this very tragic story on camera. But he can't just cast the kid in a play because he's ill. He needs to develop in the mirror. And so who's being deceived? And the answer is the audience is being deceived. They believe that he saw a random kid in a wheelchair, said he didn't have money because the dad is oh so nice. The child gets to meet his hero. And it just seems strange to me. If you and I are walking down the street and see a kid in a wheelchair, and I say, look, that kid looks like he's on his last legs. Why don't we go over and ask his dad if he can film him for a TikTok in exchange for him being a celebrity? It feels predatory. But the audience doesn't really get that story. And it almost seems like there's no way around it. Like if you don't script the thing, you don't lie to the audience, you're going to be outmaneuvered by people who do. And that is what I mean by the cultural shift. Is like, it's very tough to explain this in TikTok. It's very hard to explain this in a 60-second video. Like, oh, here's how TikTok explained to you. Because there's so many subtleties and so many moral gray areas that it's, that was podcast format. I think that unless somebody listens to this the whole way, they'll still say, they'll always rest on this defense and say, at least someone has helped.
It's such an intriguing concept. You're still robbing someone. You're either robbing the person that is an unwilling actor in your work, or you're robbing the audience of their belief and understanding of the world. You're right. And when you describe the Travis Barker experience, Brett, it actually reminds me, I did a podcast recently with a friend who's excellent. I think the world of him. And my biggest takeaway is podcast sounds very different from mine. When you and I do a podcast, we could live stream this. It's the same podcast.
Oh, yeah.
Like, the editing is essentially non-existent. And frankly, that's what I thought all podcasts were like. I've been to podcasts where there's just a very specific set of questions that they want you to answer, and it's not really in the flow of a conversation. It's just like, cool, I'm just gonna ask you these questions. Okay, that was an okay answer. Now redo it, but emphasize this more.
Oh, that's funny.
And now we're gonna cut into the conversation so it's natural. And it does really well. And I remember sitting there being like, yeah, totally it makes sense that it does well. Because the way we do it, it's actually a conversation. And yeah, if someone's scripting the podcast interview, but it seems authentic, I realize now, literally talking to you, I'm like, oh, that's why I felt a little like, feels weird.
Yeah, it's to be honest, it's very difficult to compete when you're willing to script a situation and make it seem authentic. And that podcast you said does very well, and that's because they know what's going to work. They're like, you know what, you answer this way, you react this way.
Questions here, the answers here, things emphasize.
Yeah. And these are the ones that work, and this is how we can vote. Because at the end of the day, most podcasts are promoted via viral clicks anyways. If you don't get a good soundbite, if you don't have something that can be explained in 30 seconds, then in a way, depending on your financial situation, you may consider your time to be wasted. Totally. And again, I think the degradation of honesty is going to be one of the casualties of the new media empire. And for all the people who are helped, I do believe there's going to be an equivalent number of people who are deceived and lied to. So our net is neutral.
It's fascinating. You remind me, the philosopher Kant writes that to determine whether something is moral, it is not based on what you think God says or ties to humanity. It's tied to if something is truly just and moral, you live in a world where everyone did this thing, nobody is hurt. Now, he has a very extreme version of this. He actually has examples around honesty, where he says, lying is bad, being honest is good. Because, hey, if I allowed myself to lie to you now, for purposes of smoothing over social interactions, well, that's like high world Let's apply this to everybody. And chaos.
Head to your drop-off at 2604 Sullivan. Take the next right onto DuPont Drive, then turn left onto Jamboree Road.
In a quarter mile, turn left onto Von Carmen Avenue.
So I would argue that in a situation like that, if your friend is innocent and what they've done is
In a quarter mile, turn right on Von Carmen Avenue.
well, you should always help someone who's being hunted.
I know that's okay, right?
So if you're hiding your friend and he just got done with a killing spree, you could maybe should say that he's right back here, please take away his murder. But if your friend is being unjustly, pursued, the kind of rule here would say you should lie to, you should defend your friend. And again, we could go in circles about that, an entire thing. But I think some people don't understand. I feel like you're a utilitarian philosophy, which will focus only on outcome. Do a number of things regardless of your intention and outcomes. And it's easy to quantify because you quantify.
Take the next left onto Von Carmen Avenue.
As I've gotten older, I've started to apply content thought processes to a lot more decision. If I could tell you one thing that I know for my son is that no matter what your situation is, you will experience easier than whether it's relationships, whether it's business, everything in life gets easier. If you
Continue on Von Carmen Avenue for 1 mile.
breakups, betrayals, like business failures, people not cheating them. It's hard to learn that without experiencing the pain. When I was younger, I did not manage my relationships well. I cheated on people infrequently. And one time I got lost in a sitting on a holiday. They actually tricked me into meeting to get something at the same time. But in the irony is that both such good. And they wouldn't have understood what I told us to be exclusive. Like, you said, let's be exclusive. If you've been honest with us, and I just wanted to actually, you will still live like you. You could potentially have both of us in your life as like productive friends and romantic partners for almost as long as you wanted, as we like you. We hate them because you lied to us. It was such a weird turn. Like, I should have just been honest with them at the beginning when I met you. Not until I sweat it these days, but it's such a powerful message that, like, my mind for temporary gain. Whereas if I just stood it being honest, I wouldn't be hurting anybody's feelings. I wouldn't have experienced, like causing irrational pain to those around me. And it applies are here to deceive you. And I know they're here to deceive you. And they know.
In a quarter mile, turn right onto MacArthur Boulevard. In 800 feet, make a U-turn at Cartwright Road. Turn right on Cartwright Road.
Encourage incredible eye on things. And every dollar that these grifters you guys have a net positive.
Make a U-turn at Cartwright Road.
Someone lies to you because they want to get profit. It should be easily forgiven. It should be something they don't want us to do. Just because you like them, or think they're funny, or think they're attractive on social media, does not mean they deserve your attention and your dollar. And your attention and dollar is very, very valuable.
Turn left on Sullivan, then drop off. In 600 feet, turn left onto White Road.
I don't know what to do about it. I feel like I'm the only creator on TikTok, at least my size, that's regularly trying to point out grifters. And I've been doing that even since the orthodontic days. Like those job people were advertising for job. And I used to hit them all the time.
In 800 feet, turn right onto White Road.
You're calling is to expose these grifters, but because you're unwilling to...
New message from Uber. Leave at door. Gate code 8217. Find the road between gym and pool. Face the gym. Take the path on the drop off.
I'm addressing extremely specific questions that are coming up on social media. I'm addressing very specific weaknesses that people use. And, some people get the message, but it's just tough because it's hard to get them to go as viral as people who
It's wild, Brad. It's the same way your mission may or may not be similar to Dartman's. Dartman's is trying to teach morality to young children. In a way, you are too. Yeah. But he does so through constructed fables and situations. And you do so by the way you actually create content in the first place, which is be honest and don't stage things.
Yes, for sure. Dartman's technique, I think, is a lot more sensationalized than mine because all of his stories involve sort of like measurable consequences. And I try not to. I don't think I even touch that area. All Dartman stories are, man thinks that the woman is smart, instant regret. Like he suffers very quickly for it. In a way, some Curb Your Enthusiasm episodes are like that as well. Like where Larry David, someone at the beginning, that person turns out to have power over him. Not to sound like it. That's really not how the real world works. Sure, in very isolated situations that happens, but it's very rare that like the homeless guy on the street turns out to be the boss of the company that I'm interviewing for. Now that we talk about this, I realize that Darman is a very utilitarian-based content creator. He's like, don't be bad because you will get less money because the person you're into is the owner of the hospital. Whereas I'm saying, my message is a lot more vague because the consequences are not measurable. I'm saying don't be bad because if everyone's bad, the world is fucked up. Grifters, dishonest people will be able to take your trust, take your money, and use it to build themselves up. Like I'm on a
onto White Road.
Turn right on White Road.
In a quarter mile, turn left onto Main Street.
Just ahead, turn right on Main Street. Turn right on Main Street.
Turn left onto Main Street. In a quarter mile, turn right onto Jamboree Road. Take the next right onto Jamboree Road, then use the right 2 lanes to turn slightly right onto the I-405 North ramp. Use the right 2 lanes to turn slightly right onto the I-405 North ramp, then merge onto I-405 North. In a quarter mile, turn right onto Michelson Drive.
Keep right towards San Diego Freeway, San Diego.
I'm not needing from Melissa Gilly, but we, the people, society, needs both sides.
Yeah, we can either disagree or partially disagree. I was going to any of these guys, to be honest with you, because I feel like I'm making content well. Like, I can create a movie or a plot or a script.
It's worse that you see the grifters out there, and you can't help but very personal place be like, oh, you know, I was going to make my funny comedy action movie, but like now I have to skewer this person because people are going to fall prey.
That's true, and my wife asks me about that frequently. She's like, this all will usually start with a funny script, and then I'll deviate. And we're like, no, we're going to make fun of this guys. Because she asked me, she's like, you know, sometimes you get heated over this. Like, I put a lot of time and effort into trying to get people to see my performance and such. She's like, you know, it seems like my targets are super random. She's like, writing for this person does the same thing. And like, they're going to do the same thing, something similar. And I think it's because I hit, for whatever reason, I feel like I sense people do what they love for money versus do something for money. I feel like so many good examples of Stanley's Italian as peoples. There's no way that little Carlo, as a kid, was like, I really hope that my career is being a movie Italian and messing up people's. I really hope that's something I'm doing. I want to be fired at a lawyer. I saw my career love American, and she brings possible. That's all. That is not. You can't convince me that that is Carlo's dream. It's passion. They make money off it, and people like it. There's nothing wrong with that. But part of it, for some reason, I sense the lack of shit. And I create on all the time. So my fans say like, my Italian is I create some of my favorite content because I try to take it so over the top. Right now, I'm playing with the same Italian as the Academy. So really, we were talking more specifically for Italian as TikToks. You know, this guy, we're looking at West New artist who reacts to the Academy. It's the same script. So for some reason,
In a quarter mile, use the right 2 lanes to take exit 5 for Culver Drive.
What's so funny is I've never actually seen the original Italian husband content that you were talking. I've only seen your content. I'm sitting there like, okay, assuming he's making some money or something.
Yes, I'm totally. There's multiple accounts.
Yeah.
Like, for having an Italian husband is a very easy way. It's
It's a way to make a living now.
for certain, it's like a legitimate job. It's such a plug equation almost any other race. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh, yeah, that's pretty dangerous.
Use the right 2 lanes to take exit 5.
What are you expecting him to do?
exactly. So for some reason, the Italian husband stereotypes are so like, to some people.
Keep left to stay on
In a quarter
I-405
mile,
South.
turn left onto Culver Drive.
It's still a bit of a grift because you're just sort of staging your scenes. You're like a cute guy, and I love Michael like parents. Like I make
You're trying really hard and you do it
I'm not telling the world that they're bad people, but I'm saying that the world they're creating, if there is a legitimate genre of Italian content, then there should be Italian Academy Awards. There should be Italian Academy Awards.
Let's continue to tell.
Yeah, and essentially I'm doing, to me, you know, in my narcissistic point of view, I'm flexing on them by saying I'm taking your joke.
Turn left onto Culver Drive.
There's no way with Italian person just asking which words. You know, that's the big deal.
Using the right 2 lanes, turn right on Culver Drive.
Over time, so you got all this more content. There's this system of workers, we call the Kohlberg system of workers, and it's how people develop systems around. And the way it works when we're young, we think things are normal. If it's benefited me, I feel good.
In 1,000 feet, turn right onto Michelson Drive.
For me, not. That's the first stage, just for. The second is, morality becomes what your parents tell you. It's like the immediate personal authority figures in your life. My mom says this.
Just ahead, make a U-turn to stay on Culver Drive.
Like, the law. Oh, I'm a law-abiding citizen. I would never break the law because a good person is to follow it. Before the final stage is the Martin Luther King Jr. letter.
Turn right onto Michelson Drive.
Make a U-turn to stay on Culver Drive.
To me, only what's legal, then your system is completely crazy because there are lots of ways our legal system fails us. There are lots of things that it doesn't address.
Continue on Michelson Drive for 1.5 miles.
They'll go into public places, post offices, and just annoyingly film people and talk trash on them. And everything they do is legal, right? But that doesn't make it moral. It doesn't make it right. You know what I mean? Recently, there was a hot dog vendor who was posted online, and the influencer who filmed him made him look like a bit of a jerk. And then people review bombed his business. Somebody comes to me, and I'm like, no, he's allowed to film. It's legal. You know, he didn't do anything wrong. I'm like, no. Just because it's legal, it's not making it good. It does not make you a good person. You're still using it for content without their permission or knowledge. And some countries even do have laws, right, that restrict you from featuring someone in a YouTube video. So, but the problem with law is that it often is corrupted. You know, it's constantly shifting. Laws in different countries vary. You can't use a law to make yourself seem like a moral person because there's so many asshole behaviors you can get away with. And you can throw your hands up and be like, whatever, it's legal. I don't care.
Yeah, in fact, you mentioned there are countries that have laws prohibiting filming. Law has been an imperfect way to enforce someone's perception of morality on a large scale. You prefer to live in a society that does have laws being like, no, do not exploit this. One where there's no laws and we have to rely on our own moral. These systems to hold us back.
I mean, that's a tough one because if we lived in a society where we had no laws whatsoever, I do believe we would eventually have some sort of gang rule. I do believe that a government would spring up. You know what I mean? Because as human beings, you know, we're exceptionally good at war. You know what I mean? Like that's something that we can't even deny. Every generation, like we think we're always so good and special and like we made all this social progress, but like wars and fighting still happen randomly every day. And so I believe that if like all laws were thrown out and we had to live under our own morality, a new system of law would be created based on, you know, honestly based on violence.
So you don't believe necessarily that as humans over time we've become more moral naturally. It's more we just have the accumulated societal institutions.
In 400 feet, turn right onto Michelson Drive.
It's tough to measure because you and I have never lived in a generation other than this one. But every generation seems to say the world's going to hell. The world's going to hell, right? My parents' generation said that. World War II generation said that. I'm saying that. I'm sure my kid will say that. Like for each bit of progress we make, we encounter new ways to hate each other. With each new technological advancement, we find new ways to exploit our fellow person. You know what I mean? So I will say, like, I feel like quality of life in certain countries does keep improving, but our ability to negotiate our own moral place in the universe, I mean, it's insulting to think we have that much more understanding of morality than like the ancient Greeks. You know what I mean? They still debated all this stuff. And sure, like now through technology we can see more people in more cultures and understand each other. But we can also hate more people. We can also be bigoted more because now we have ways to attack people far away.
Turn right onto Michelson Drive, then make a U-turn.
You talk a lot about, in a way, scumbag dad, although it was previously meant to be parodies of your Korean dad. It's now become also materialistic. I am wanting to convey a certain moral POV to the next generation. For yourself, if you have gone through these life experiences, what helped you develop?
Using the right lane.
Hey, you previously had cheated before, and that experience helped you realize, like, why the f did I do that?
Didn't have any advantages I did as a kid. I feel like a lot of people come from homes where maybe one or both parents might have a present.
In a quarter mile, use the right lane to take the I-405 North San Diego Freeway ramp to Long Beach.
Every time you come around, you know I can't say no.
In 1,000 feet, merge on
Goes down,
I-405
let
South.
you take control. I can feel the paradise, pull my world in close. And tonight had something wonderful. My bad habits lead to late nights, sitting alone. Conversations with a stranger, I better know. Swearing this will be the last, but it probably won't. I got nothing left to lose or use. Or do my bad habits lead to white ice in space? conversations with a stranger I barely know. Swearing I got nothing left to lose or use or do. My bad habits lead to white eyes staring at space. And I know I lose control over the things that I say. Yeah, I was looking for a way out, now I can't escape. Nothing happens after two. It's true, it's true. My bad habits lead to you. My bad habits lead to you. My bad habits lead to you. I was falling apart, so caught in the dark. Not gonna see it. You were out of my way, but so much has changed. So where did you go? Tell me you love me, or tell me you're leaving. Don't keep me waiting here all night. 'Cause you weren't already ready for someone to stay right by your side. Oh, I don't wanna let you go. I'm a little lost without you, a little lost without you, my darling, you're all I know. I'm a little lost without you, a little lost without you by my side.
In 200 feet, turn right on Michelson Drive. Turn right on Michelson Drive. Turn right at 2 lanes to turn left onto University Drive.
I lost count of the days, so lost in
Use the left 2 lanes to turn left onto University Drive.
I feel you. You say you needed some time to go back and find you. How could I know? Oh, tell me you love me, or tell me you're leaving. Don't keep me waiting here all night. 'Cause you weren't already ready for someone to stay right by your side. Oh, I don't wanna let you go. I'm a little lost without you, a little lost without you, my darling, you're all I know. I'm a little lost without you, a little lost without you by my side. A little lost without you. A little lost without you. You go. I'm a little lost without you, a little lost without you. I was scared of dentists and the dark. I was scared of pretty girls and starting conversations. All my friends are turning green. Yeah, the magician's assistant in their dream. I've been dreaming about. You've been running around, throwing that dirt all on my name. Cause you knew that I knew that I knew that I'd call you up. You've been going around, going around. I come and I go. Tell me all the ways you need me. I'm not here for long. Catch me or
ego and you're not an asshole.
No,
You know what I mean?
I 100% do not consider myself a major influencer. I feel like I'm
Well, okay, I agree with you. It's not like there's bigger levels. There's always a bigger
yeah, I'm always a bigger
level.
level. I feel like I'm on this little like D level niche where I mean I get recognized, but my name doesn't wield any like sort of mainstream power because my comedy is so dark. It's very difficult for me to get like diaper sponsorships because nobody wants to work with the scumbag dad. And you know, when my agent talks to like companies to get sponsors, they're like, so what's his content? He's like, yeah, he roasts people. He like roasts them hard, and there's not.
I'm gonna be honest. When friends ask me like,
Take
this
right
guy,
exit 101
like,
lead onto
yeah,
Red Hill
his
Avenue, then turn
name's
right on Red
what's his
Hill
name?
Avenue.
Scumbag Dad. Who? You know, and it's like
It's a mouthful. I may change
no,
the name.
not the mouthful. It's off-putting of like, is he a scumbag?
Yeah, it is.
But it makes you want to pay attention of like, who is he?
It's just annoying because it takes too much time to explain. Like, no, the name Scumbag Dad's
I
meant
promise
to be.
he's not an actual scumbag.
It's meant to be ironic. Like, I'm not actually Scumbag Dad.
He's not actually an asshole. It's just
I actually care about my family very much, and so it's tough to explain that in like a boardroom.
The thing is, I've attended one of your lectures at Drake University. You are respected in these professional capacities, I say, and
Use
obviously
the
your
left 2 lanes
orthodontist
to turn left
background.
onto
You probably had to
Altamira
get a
Real.
doctorate for that.
Yeah, I had to go to school for a long time.
You're smart. You're a very smart and respected guy in both realms, dude.
Thanks. Just do
That's
my best.
crazy.
Just do my best.
But I'm just like,
In
sit next
600
to you. I'm like,
feet,
dude,
make a
I can't
U-turn.
sit next to you, man. I want your brains sometimes, man.
Okay, cool. One day.
Nah, yeah. Speaking of your scumbag character, though.
Yeah, scumbag character.
You did bring him back.
I did. I brought Scumbag Dad back for 2 episodes, but like they didn't perform all that well because in the Scumbag Dad universe, Scumbag Dad always has to have like an alternative reason for things. And so the first bunch of seasons of Scumbag Dad, it was always like drug dealing and violence and that kind of thing. And I thought, well, what if the secondary reason is he's trying to make TikToks? He's trying to be an influencer, basically. And so, you know, we did those episodes and I was like, I miss the violence. I do miss it. I miss it very, very much. And so I've kind of gone back to my typical shit posting. That's basically all I do these days is I take trends that I don't like or I see creators that I think are disingenuous. And I just kind of F with them. I F with their formula. I do their own content in a slightly different way where I say the quiet part out loud. Yeah, quite a few people have blocked me, but that's okay. And
How many have blocked you?
A couple dozen. Like one of the Italian husband accounts blocked me. I thought that was pretty funny.
Really?
Yeah. They
It's all good fun. You're not like.
No, it's all good fun. The Italian husband accounts are
whatever.
Yeah, whatever. I'm not really trying to hit them that hard, but most of the kindness influencers have blocked me. I won't say their names because I don't want to give them any publicity, but a lot of kindness influencers have blocked me because I think they get tired of me showing up in their comments and then me saying like one
people
thing.
Be tagging you. And it's like, you're not asking them to. They just
No,
be
I'm
doing
not asking them to. They tag me all the time because they're like, what do you think about this? And half the time I'm like, you know what I think about it. I hate it. It's stupid.
It's fucking stupid.
You don't need me to roast them. Why don't you roast them yourself? Trying to argue with people online about this is a very difficult battle because basically when I try to point out that their favorite kindness influencer is a weird liar, then that affects their emotions. Parasocial relationships are a hell of a thing because the audience member will develop a love and a loyalty to the creator that is not reciprocated at all. So when I insult a creator by parodying them and I try to point out how they're a liar or they're weird, a fan of theirs will be personally insulted. They'll feel attacked and they'll respond. They'll respond very strongly. They won't listen to arguments. They will kind of go into a blind rage in my comments. And I think that's really interesting.
That is.
I think, you know, one person I made a point and they're like, you know what? Just not gonna listen to you. And my point was that lying is bad. I was trying to say like lying is not good if you're doing it for
if you're
profit.
Deceiving people like this.
And the person was like, you know what, don't care. And I'm like, well, what kind of world do you justify lying? Like, what kind of world do you justify that where you love some stranger so much that you'll let them lie to you so that your loyalty stays intact?
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the essences of a parasocial relationship is the audience develops a fanatic love for that creator that creator can then use to milk them out of money, milk them out of clout. The creator will use them as defense in case they do something shitty or they get canceled. And so the more sociopathic you are as a creator, the easier it is to rally children and deceived people to your defense online.
Yeah.
You know, when
Head
you're
northwest
if you're
on
going
El
to be
Camino Real toward Red
if
Hill
you have no
Avenue,
talent
then
and
turn
you need
left.
to use strangers in your content, you need two things.
Head
You
northwest
need
on El Camino
the
Real toward Red
narcissism
Hill
necessary
Avenue,
to
then turn left
interrupt
onto
people
Red
going
Hill
about their
Avenue.
daily lives and shove a camera in their face. You need that, which I think takes a lot. Because normally, if you're a well-balanced individual, you don't want to just shove a camera in someone's face. If you're a well-balanced individual, you don't want to hide a camera and talk to them. And then the second thing you need is a shield, okay? The shield can come in a wide variety of forms. If you're a kindness influencer, the shield comes in the fact that you're giving away money to the homeless. You want to film the homeless, right? But you can't just shove a camera in their face. You need to say you're giving to them. This way the audience supports you. This way you're not a weird asshole with a camera. You're a charitable person. In a way, the First Amendment auditors are similar. They go out and they film people's stores, waiting for the person to get mad at them. They're counting on them calling the cops. And then when the cops show up, obviously, you know, the First Amendment auditor knows his rights. He's got the upper hand in the situation. He gets to laugh at the person who got angry. But at the end of the day, they say, oh, well, it's to test our rights, test our rights. Well, how come every video highlight is just man screams at me, crazy Karen screams at me, cop doesn't know his rights. Like you're saying that you're in it to test the rights. But what you're actually doing is you're hiding behind that defense as an excuse to use regular people as actors.
Just argue with people on camera.
Correct. Because you do have the right to film people. And I talked about this in a previous podcast.
Right.
I never say you don't have the right to film people. Of course you have the right. They're in public, you're in public, you're on a sidewalk, you're in a place you're both allowed to be. Anybody can bust out a camera and use that footage for anything. The issue is whether or not that's a cool thing to do. There are a lot of immoral things that are legal. You know, adultery is legal. You can cheat on your wife or lie to your girlfriend. You can do a ton of things that are objectively wrong. You can lie to your friends. I can tell you that my mom's got a chronic illness, and I'd like you to give me $500. And if you give me the $500, I can't be arrested.
Yeah.
Does that make me moral? If say I do that, say I steal $500 from you under false pretense.
Yes. Lanes to take exit 100.
And you post about it online. My friend took $500 from me. What if somebody rolled in and he's like, well, he didn't break the law. You gave him the money legally. You know, that's the kind of defenses that I see when people start to defend this behavior. They're like, oh, you know what? They're not bad. They did something that was within their rights. I'm like, it's not the same thing. Like the law versus like morality, they don't always have to line up. And I think a lot of the internet audience really doesn't get that. It's an excuse to put people who don't want to be on camera, but more importantly, it's an excuse to get them to act. You know, it's an excuse to get them to behave in a certain way that you couldn't get in acting. You know what I mean? Like having someone actually annoyed with you filming them is way more effective than an actor pretending. Like I've got lots of good actors who I can call on for a scene, but there's nothing quite as good as a person who legitimately wants you away from their business door. That person is going to be excellent content. And so as we progress with this new social media empire, I think there are going to be fewer and fewer people who do something resembling traditional art. I feel like there are going to be fewer and fewer musicians making it. There are going to be fewer and fewer painters. I feel like there are going to be newer and newer ways to exploit the world around you in a legal way that
exit 97 for Jeffrey Road. Take exit 97, then use the right lane to turn right onto Walnut Avenue. Use the right lane to turn right onto Walnut Avenue. In 2 miles, use the right lane to take exit 94 for Alton Parkway. In a half mile, use the right lane to take exit 94 for Alton Parkway. Use the right lane to take exit 94, then swipe right onto the ramp to Alton Parkway. Swipe right onto the ramp to Alton Parkway, then merge onto Enterprise Drive. In 2.25 miles, use the right lane to take exit 92 for Bank Parkway. Use the right lane to take exit 92. In a half mile, take the Bank Parkway exit.
Norm.
In 2 miles, use the right 2 lanes to take
Norm.
exit 90 for Alicia Parkway.
Norm. McDonald.
Norm McDonald.
He's actually killed. And I was wondering, what are you adhering to?
Vegetarian, strict vegetarian.
In a half mile, use the
Well,
right
I
lane
eat
to
chicken.
take exit 91 toward El Toro Road.
That's not vegetarian.
I'm not, I said I'm not strict. I eat chicken and
Steaks.
beef. I eat raw game. Did you ever eat? It's not dead yet.
Use the right lane to take exit
And you
90.
eat it, and as you're eating it, their death throes are making you hungry. That's better than a soybean.
Yeah, you're right.
What sounds better, that or soybean?
According to retailers, the most popular Halloween mask this year is O.J. Simpson. And the most popular Halloween greeting is, I'll kill you and that guy who's bringing over your glasses, or trait. This week on Larry King Live, Marlon Brando made the shocking statement that Hollywood is, quote, run by Jews. In response, outraged Jewish organizations made it snow in New York in April. See, I think we should get the homicide out of the White House and get like a fresh start, because we don't want any more murderers.
I think we should just go on to the next question.
Oh.
Murderers. Yeah.
Well, Clinton, he murdered a guy.
Yeah,
you're not allowed to put out no accusations without.
That's a little too far. Let's just go on to the next question.
Yeah.
This is not my week. What can I tell you?
Oh, it's not mine either. I'm being very nice, okay? Be a good boy. Now, Norm.
Do you never hear that?
No. Listen, we don't need to talk about
this, and I don't want to hear it, and this is not the place to make those accusations, and you're supposed to be funny. Let's get on with it.
There you go.
This is a live show.
Norm, but you have been properly chastised by Barbara, so I'm not going to ask the next
I thought it was a matter of record.
Shut up. Okay.
Let me do this, okay?
I'll tell you what's a matter of record. You will not be invited back if you don't shut up. All right, now.
You've admitted that you're lazy. I think you've read 6 books in your life.
I read 6.
What kind of a woman would be attracted to you, do you think?
Well, I have a lot of money. Hey, for the 9th consecutive year, JetBlue Airline ranked first for satisfaction among all North American airlines. But you know what ranked least in satisfaction?
Continue on I-5 North for
9/11 Airlines. What a terrible name for an airline. It reminds me of that
800
tragedy.
feet, make a U-turn at Charlington
Oh,
Drive.
9/11. Yeah, don't laugh at 9/11. Man.
Make a U-turn at Charlington Drive, and step right over the ramp to I-5 North.
I tried to tell him not to laugh. I know. I walked through blood and bones in the streets of Manhattan trying to find my brother. Jesus. Yeah, he was in northern Canada. Here we see the president and the first bitch. Hey, slow down, you bitch. Let me catch up. When I accepted the honor of performing here tonight, one thought crossed my mind, and that was, please, God, don't let me bomb in front of the president. I'm not worried. What the hell do I care? You know, I worked on all my jokes. I got a lot of help from my joke writer, Don Imus. He was helping a lot. Are you familiar? You know, this guy's a funny guy. He wrote some jokes.
Make a U-turn at Geronimo Road.
Anyways, the dinner was great. You enjoyed the dinner? We had some salmon. Yeah, it was delicious. It was great, and I thought it was, I thought it was refreshing to see Democrats serve something other than subpoenas for a change. I thought that was nice, I'll be doing some jokes later. I just thought I'd.
one time I was on his other show, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, and it was Celebrity Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, so the questions are a little easier.
You won.
I heard they didn't give you the money.
Yeah.
No, they give it to a charity. They don't tell you.
That's...
No, they give it to.
Continue on Glacier Parkway for 3/4 miles.
Yeah, that's nice. They need, they need money too.
Are you drunk? Because all you did was ride a cooler and you're sweating.
I am. Well, it's hot it's hotter than a $2
Well, he's got like 12 layers on.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be really cold.
When you're from Canada, there should be springtime.
No, I know I'm from Canada, but I'm still a human being. It's not like we evolved different. I'm from the frozen north.
Yeah.
Yeah, it gets colder than. It gets colder than.
Here it comes. Get your finger on the panic
Make
button.
a U-turn
It gets
at
colder
Cornell
than a
Drive.
vampire's demeanor.
Wow. Surprisingly cerebral.
What do you guys have?
We're joined by the talented trio called the Lonely Island.
Yeah,
Who are they on the big? What do you call them?
I call them Sandberg and the other couple of fellas.
The Mind Squad. Is how Rolling Stone put it.
The Iron Horse of broadcasters.
Iron. You don't pronounce it iron.
That's what everybody tells me.
It's the Iron Horse. Like Lou Gehrig was the Iron Horse of baseball.
Yes.
The word IRON is
iron.
No, iron. That's what makes English the world's toughest language.
Yeah.
You know, right?
Make a
It is the
U-turn
toughest
at
language. To me, it's the easiest.
Yeah, well, you were born with it.
O.J. Simpson says that he's taken a bullet or stood in front of a train for Nicole. Man, I'm going to tell you, that is some bad luck. When the one guy who would have died for you kills you. That's probably... You don't get worse luck than that.
This girl, she's mad at you. She was on the Greg Fitzsimmons show. Did you hear anything about this?
I know Greg Fitzsimmons.
Yeah, Greg does a show for us, and Greg was interviewing some girl, and she was going off.
I know who it is.
What's the girl's name?
Me and Norm have worked with her before. That's why he's going to laugh when I say the name. Laura Keitling. Hates your guts.
Did you know she hates you? Oh my God. Did you want to get the clip? Sure. All right.
By the way, can I interrupt your old friend, Norm MacDonald? Did you guys write together on,
He's not a friend of mine.
Oh, right? Well, I was just using it loosely.
Now you have reaction just now to Norm Macdonald. Not a friend, not a fan.
You worked with him, though.
At Saturday Night Live.
Roseanne.
No, I missed him at Roseanne. Well, I came in. He was supposed to be my guide through SNL, and it turned out that.
I mean, I barely remember Laura from the show, except for her hit characters, obviously.
I don't even know who she is.
But she makes Morwena Banks look like Gilda Radner. But no.
You had a look of surprise on your face, even when this woman said, well, Norm was supposed to be my guide through Saturday Night Live. Did anyone inform you that you were her guide?
No.
There was no such mentoring program at Saturday Night Live, was it?
No, she came in directly after me, so I wouldn't be her
mentor.
Yeah, I'm not going to guide any lady through comedy. That would take me, first of all, I'd have to figure out how a lady could do comedy. The new people, hey, guess what? There's a young girl that's middling attractive that swears a lot. Let's get her. Is that the new fucking thing?
Yeah.
Sarah Silverman, hysterical.
Right.
Who's funnier than her?
Nobody.
No, I said dude. But people had very strong opinions on the election. Some people had very strong opinions one way, and other people had strong opinions the other way. And I didn't have any opinions at all. I don't have really any opinions on anything. Like, you ever watch the CNN, and they'll have the polls, it'll be like, what do you think about embryonic stem cell research? And then it'll be like, see, there you go. It'll be like 52% yes, 46% no, 6% I don't know. See? And that's me. I don't know. phone up to CNN, you know, and I go, hey, listen, is this the TV? Yeah, that question you asked about the embryonic stem cell research.
Right onto Alicia Parkway. In a quarter mile, make a U-turn at Vista del Lago.
Woodson. How about that? And what a season he had. Right, and he became the first defensive player to win the Heisman Trophy. Congratulations, Charles. That is something that no one can ever take away from you. Unless you kill your wife and the waiter, in which case... It's a word of advice. How's life on the road? I got a kid. You have a kid? Yeah, man, when you have a little baby, like, I guess I never loved anybody before, you know? When I had the baby, it was like, oh my God, like you have all this love and you feel like so incredible, you know? And like single guys can't understand it, like, so I'd be telling them, like, oh, this is like the most unbelievable feeling you'll ever have in your life, you know? And they'll go, like, is it like crystal meth? And I'm like, he's brilliant, Byron Allen. He had that Comics Unleashed. You ever do that? Oh, you couldn't be more leashed.
There's nothing unleashed about it. It's not like you would have like Lenny Bruce on, like.
And he has no segue. So this is what he said to John Lovitz one time. He said he just turned to him from, you know, talking to
Lenny Bruce.
Lenny Bruce.
Will Elizabeth Taylor become bar mitzvahed? No, I promise continuity. I'll behave myself. I'll do all the lines that were rehearsed, you know. That's the thing, you know. I have a reputation for being sort of controversial and irreverent and also the semantic bad trap of bad taste. And actually I do have, and I will always be accused of bad taste by the people who eat in restaurants reserved service, you know, that kind of scene to anyone, yeah. But you might be interested in how I became offensive. It like started in school with drinking and I was like a real depressed kid, you know, 7 or 8 years old, and I really get juiced and get out of it. And so the teacher would really get bugged, you know, with me singing and carrying on and calling Columbus a fink and boosting Aaron Burr and smoking. I don't know if you can see. Can you see that from here? I've got like this tattoo here. I'll fix it. Oh. Can you see it? I Marlboros when I was 6 years old and it grew up. Offend, there's a funny kind of thing. It's, there's semantics. There are words that offend me. Let's see, Governor Farvis, segregation offend me. Nighttime television offends me. Some nighttime television. The shows that exploit homosexuality, narcotics, and prostitution under the guise of helping the societal problem. Except like for a few shows. There's one guy on the coast who's got like a nutty sense of humor, you know. His name is Paul Coast, and he found out, like there were kids that 8 and 9 years old that were sniffing airplane glue. To get high on, you know, and so I had sort of a fantasy how it happened. The kid is alone in his room, and it's Saturday. The child is played by George McCready. Well, let's see now, I'm all alone in the room, and it's Saturday. Mother's away, and what'll I do that's good and hostile? Let's see, I'll make an airplane, that's good. I'll make a Lancaster. Good structural design. I'll get the ball to it, I'll stand it here, I'll cut that off, I'll get the struts now. Now I'll get a little airplane glue, I'll rub it on the rag, and, Hey, now, it's another plane. Oh, I'm getting loaded. Is this possible loaded on airplane glue? Maybe it's just stuffy in here. I'll call my dog over. Flicka. Flicka, come here, darling, and smell this rat. Smell it, you freaky little doggy. Smell that rat, Flicka. Flicka. Flicka! It's what? I'm the Louis Pasteur of junkiedom. I'm out of my skull for tinner. Well, there's much work to be done now. Horses' hooves to melt down, noses to get ready. Cut to the toy store. Any toy store, any hobby shop. Might be your kid who walked in that day. Ding-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling. Hello, Mr. Schindler. Nice store you got here. Give me a nickel's worth of pencils and a big boy tablet and some erasers and 2,000 tubes of aeroplane glue. What else a pen? Some motion pictures. Now, the motion pictures, that's the thing that I don't like, you know. Exploitation for just the sake of exploiting. Motion pictures that exploit race relations without ever saying anything. I don't feel Hollywood has ever, maybe with the exception of Home of the Brave, really touched on a good picture that came out and said some issues that were important, you know. Typical brotherhood film. It's just like, lay some Spanish music on like anything. That's weird. Miguel, 3 years old. It's the hour of truth. They're taking the bull away, the bull he raised, the bull he loves. We hear Miguel talking to his father. Why are you going to take the bull away? I love him. Not my bull, not your bull. Sometimes you stick the bandolero on him and kill my new heir. Todo el mundo telefónica en España. That's my bull. Tuya don't like you. I told you, I'm not your son. Don't call me your son. Because you killed my bull. That's it. My son, if you don't understand. No, how can I understand that you killed him? That's all I know. Miguel, if you don't see, I can explain to you. If you said to kill this bull will mean $3,000 your American money. Kill him. He grows. The man, 19 years old, and here's where the typical Hollywood brotherhood pitch starts to seep in. The sister talks to him over the shoulder. Ron, you're making a mistake. Hanging around with the wrong gang. Why, Dr. Mendoza, the shop teacher, says you're making wonderful earrings out of that.
come to stereo hi-fi. Stereo, you know, is listening.
Wow. Oh, I should fucking. No, I know. No, listen. Oh, this. I'm coming. I mean, we're talking really crazy. Jesus Christ. There's 1060. 57. Jesus Christ. Okay, I'm here. Oh, God. Jesus Christ. Yeah, I drove in. This isn't my apartment. I don't live here. Jesus fucking Christ. Jesus Christ. I'm coming. Wow, dude, no, that makes no sense. Weird. Straight up Russian. But temperature is weird. Makes 0 sense. Oh, she's pissed off. Jeez. Yeah, so no. Makes no sense. 56. So okay, I'm just gonna park. Why did that video? It's at 10:56. I thought, hey. You know what? I just want back.
Look at this lead pencil. There's not a single person in the world who could make this pencil. Remarkable statement? Not at all. The wood from which it's made comes from a tree that was cut down in the state of Washington. To cut down that tree, it took a saw. To make the saw, it took steel. To make the steel, it took iron ore. This black center, this really graphite, comes from some mines in South America. The eraser comes from Malaya, where the rubber tree isn't even native. It was imported from South America by some businessmen with the help of the British government. Literally thousands of people cooperated to make this pencil. People who don't speak the same language, practice different religions, who might hate one another if they. The operation of the free market is so essential to foster harmony.
Head southwest on Marguerite Parkway. In 800 feet, turn right onto Santa Margarita Parkway. At the light, turn right onto Santa Margarita Parkway.
What the fuck is this?
Continue on Santa Margarita Parkway for 3/4 of a mile. You're back online. You should reach your destination by 2:39 a.m.
Harmony and peace among the peoples of the world. Look at this lead pencil.
If you look at the crime suspects, don't follow your passion, follow your talent. If someone tells you to follow your passion, it means they're already rich. And by the way, the person telling you to follow your passion made their billions in iron ore smelting.
In a quarter mile, use the left 2 lanes to turn left onto El Toro Road. At the light, use the left 2 lanes to turn left onto El Toro Road. Continue on El Toro Road for 2 miles.
I'm just trying to explain.
Love that word. I like it.
responsible for this current economic situation?
Well, I think he deserves some credit.
And I'm saying,
Yeah, I think he deserves his predecessors.
what do you think about the president's campaign to lobby that rates level?
Well, I think President Trump is if you're a politician, you're not the same person you're not getting spent. And of course, it's not going to take the best example.
Some people now say that is not about that. So, okay, that would be
None of these people who are so policy, sure, I think this reassurance is really right. This is too much.
And you have any thoughts on Jay Powell?
I think he's going to face the campaign.
One consequence of this expansion actually precedes that. It's just something that's occurred.
Megan's selling champagne.
Mark, I'll give it this 50 years. He's been wealthy income of money. Do you see it as well?
In a quarter mile, turn right. Take the second right, then turn left.
So there's no reason for
It's going to go by itself. So that's not to say that, yeah, raising minimum wage is a little bit large social safety net. We should be doing that as we prosper. Both parties agree on that.
What do you think about the proposals put forth by Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and really address this problem?
Well, I don't consider those two necessarily the best prescribers in the world. They're kind of likable. I particularly kind of like it was before. She's got a manner that appeals to me. Really, but I don't agree with her attitude. I don't think she's studied Adam Smith enough.
And what about AOC? Do you have any take on her?
I don't think she knows who Adam Smith was.
I want to ask you just a few more questions about politics, and we can talk about markets and Berkshire a little bit more. What about the situation that we find ourselves in with the Mueller report and the way Congress and Democrats are fixating on that, and the president's on the defensive? What is your thoughts and thinking on that?
I tend to avoid the whole subject, just as I ignore type with me, type against, and just keep swimming. Both parties are so partisan now that they're blinded by their anger, and I don't want to be blinded by my anger, so I control it. And I would recommend it to both parties. I think they should all cool with it.
Why are we so divided up, Charlie, right now in this country?
Well, anger, when you pound on one another, feeds on itself. That's one of the great difficulties with it. It's irrational, it feeds on itself. So I liked the world when it was Dwight Eisenhower against L.A. Stevenson, and more civility, and Ronald Reagan and Tip O'Neill got along, and a lot was done. My war was a bipartisan war. And in the aftermath, foreign policy of the United States was a bipartisan policy. I like that world better. I hate this extreme hatred on both sides.
Will we ever get back to those days, or get to new days where we don't have hatred?
Probably. If you live long enough, a lot of good things happen, a lot of bad things happen.
Fair enough. It's my understanding, Charlie, that you were instrumental in helping Warren get away from focusing on the cigar butt form of investing and looked more towards companies that I guess you could call them branded companies.
Better businesses.
Better businesses, right?
Yes.
How did you help him make that decision?
Well, it was perfectly obvious. And he made so much money in the other technique that it was hard for him to believe something that worked so well. But it was not going to scale. So when he started looking for investment values in great businesses that were temporarily under pressure, it changed everything for the better. Now we can scale up to the big time.
Are Apple and Amazon technology companies, or are they brand companies?
Both.
Someone told me they asked Warren if he could buy one brand, this was about 4 years ago, what that company, what that brand would be, and he said Gillette, which makes sense. What would that company be today?
Coca-Cola.
Still?
If you take the amount of Coca-Cola drunk in the world and the main flavor, it's one hell of a brand. Now, it's such a different product from the store on the internet. I don't have the same. My judgment would not be as good on the internet as it is on Coca-Cola.
I want to get back to Apple. Tim Cook was at the meeting yesterday. Did you get a chance to speak with him?
I did.
Can you tell us what you guys talked about?
Nothing. We exchanged pleasantries. He's a wonderful guy, and of course, it's a huge record that he's building.
Let me ask you a little bit about Kraft Heinz and that situation. During the meeting yesterday, we found out that the chief marketing officer was leaving the company. Did you know that, and what does that mean for the company?
I knew nothing about it in advance. What happened there was very easy. The truth of the matter is that Heinz ketchup was a stronger brand than Kraft cheese, and they paid more for it. So one acquisition worked brilliantly, and the other worked poorly. Well, welcome to adult life. It happens to everybody.
You mentioned that you think that Tim Sloan could still be, or should still be, the CEO of Wells Fargo?
Yeah, if I were running the world, Tim Sloan would still be the CEO of Wells Fargo.
Well, why did he leave then?
Well, he made this decision, but he was being pushed hard. He did it for the benefit of the company. There's just so much of this partisan hatred was washing off against Wells Fargo. It's understandable. He was there for a long time. The company had defrauded its own customers. Nobody was seemingly being punished for it in some people's minds. Listen, 2 CEOs left under pressure. I regard that as a lot of punishment. So I don't think these people were failing with their anger. They removed 2 CEOs, and so, yeah, but now they went out. It's like Tim Sloan was not responsible for the crazy incentive system that created the trouble. So they threw him out the way you take out the char woman when you're ready to gambling establishment.
Getting back to Coca-Cola, you mentioned that it would be a bad idea if it got into cannabis. I mean, why not? Doesn't it make sense?
Because it's such a wholesome brand associated with happiness. Why do we want to associate it with a recreational drug? I think that would be a terrible idea.
What about Boeing and the 737 MAX? I mean, they're going to fix that. Would you go on the plane after they said it was fixed?
Yes, of course. And they will fix it well. But I don't think it was really all that excusable if they made a mistake.
I want to ask you, Charlie, a little bit about
that was a serious mistake.
Yeah. So they're still working on it.
Yeah, they'll fix it. Boeing probably has the best safety record in the world. It could take 60 years. And this was a very unusual lapse. There may not be another one for 60 years.
Is that lapse symptomatic, though, or indicative of us developing software that's too powerful? We don't understand the consequences of it.
No, I don't think the problem was that. I think it was just an absolute lapse of being a big bureaucracy.
You also mentioned at the meeting yesterday doing billion-dollar deals overnight with very short contracts.
Yeah, we've always done that.
Has that ever blown up on you?
I can't think of a single example in my whole life where keeping it simple has worked against us. We made mistakes, but they weren't because we kept it simple.
And that's simple.
I would say that the chief advantage that Berkshire has had in accumulating a good record is that we have avoided the pompous bureaucratic systems. We've tried to give power to very talented people.
I want to ask you about something that's talked about all the time with you guys, which is succession. And you talk about it.
Yeah, I did a Mo Border for Danny or Daniel.
But if you're getting older, how do you make the decision to step back if you may not have the mental acuity to make that decision?
Well, I think you'll be surprised.
All right, dig it.
Both Mark and I are capable of stepping back when we feel our powers are too far deteriorated.
Have you talked about that?
Sure. And Lord has told people to speak up when the time comes. If we've been rational all this way, you think we're not going to try and rational way to the other end?
Is the process, I mean, we're sort of in the middle of the process, you've been giving more and more control or authority to Gene and Greg and Todd and Ted. So it's sort of a continuum of processes like that, of course.
And by the way, it's working fine. It's amazing how good this next generation is. Another escape in our non-bureaucratic ways. There's these big bureaucracies. I think work is done if you get out of your inbox into somebody else's inbox. That is not getting done. Getting it done is when it's done, not when it's in somebody else's inbox. And everybody's in a big committee meeting all the time. You're worn out at the end of the day to get done.
Are Ted and Todd making all the tough choices at this point?
No, of course. Of course, steps in because they think.
Where do you think, Charlie, the biggest opportunities are?
Well, I think we have a master plan and knowing where the opportunities are. We're trying to find intelligent things to do with torrent of surplus cash. And we've always had a torrent of surplus cash. And we're always looking for intelligent things to do with it. And if we find things for intelligent to do, we do it. And if we don't find anything, we have to cash with it. What the hell's wrong with that?
Not much.
Yeah, not much of it.
So I know that you guys have talked about it, or it seems that you have, because Warren talked about doing this part of NFT is basically.
Awesome. Thank you.
Oh,
fuck me. Oh, shit. I forgot to add the fucking. Oh, shit.
It's just what they are. But it's a really good essentially to drop out of the European Union. So I think it's a good deal.
This contract was enormously helpful. We were all colonies together. We had to do German tariffs against each little colony. The United States would not be as big as it is. So it's understandable what Europe wanted to get together. And then the advantages they got from the free trade. They had a long history of having wars. Those were regulated on the world. On the other hand, if you have unlimited trade, never do it for so it was very few people want unlimited immigration of a different culture. We made it work in America, but we had to make it come to work on. It was easy. Big and rich, oil, minerals, wonderful soil.
Should we still be letting immigrants into this country?
I think we should have way more control of our borders than we do. Isn't it? Trump was right, and I think the Democrats are committing suicide by being so paid so much that they're against it when he's right.
It seems like the borders is conflated with immigration policy sometimes, though, right? I mean,
of course they are.
Yeah.
But I think we ought to have some control over immigration. Some effective control. I think the bulk of the people want to be very nice to the people who are already here.
Are you concerned about this rise of somewhat nationalistic leadership around the world, like in Turkey, in Brazil, in China, in the United States?
Well, take Brazil. They all like Brazil. It's a great climate and a great country, but they're right up to it fairly well.
You mean the new leader, or just what's happened previously?
What's happened generally?
So does that require a strong man to take over them?
Well, I don't think I've got deep knowledge on exactly what works well in the internal politics of every other country. Who would have guessed that the Chinese communists would improve their big country as much as they have in the last 30 years?
That surprised you?
Well, they did the first 20 years. They had the Cultural Revolution. It was crazy. And now they have one of the greatest success records in the history of mankind. I don't know about you, but I did not predict it.
So what is the secret to China's success then?
They copied Singapore.
Which
remember, the communist leaders said, I don't care if the cat is black or white, I care whether the cat is black. They copied a very wonderful, famous Chinese cat in Singapore, and lo and behold, they found the right Chinese leadership outside of China, which amuses me. I was Chinese. But look at the way it worked. In the whole history of the world, no nation that big has ever advanced that fast. And they did it. A bunch of poor people saved their income. They did not use the wealth of the rich world again. They used the savings of poor people. I am a huge admirer of what the Chinese have accomplished. And if you ask me who was the one man who did the most for China, it was Lee Kuan Yew of Singapore. They copied him.
Are you still sanguine about the future for China right now? There's a lot of concerns about slowing growth and leverage in the system.
I'm quite optimistic. They've been succeeding for a long time. Sure, they have ups and downs, and they make mistakes as well as good decisions. But if you average them out, the Chinese are getting ahead. They're not moving backward.
What do you think the economic relationship between China and the United States looks like, say, 2 years from now?
Well, if both sides have any sense, they will be better friends and adjust all differences. They just start craving madness on either side not to make a friend of the other really powerful nation on earth.
I want to ask you a little bit about some Silicon Valley stuff. I mean, you said yesterday you were ashamed of missing on Google.
Yeah. We can see if we look carefully at our own companies that their advertising is working way better than other advertising. Because we weren't paying enough attention.
So is it too late?
I don't know. I don't know everything, you know.
Well, leave that aside. You know, look at these tech investments. So they're Apple, you know, Amazon. Did you know about the Amazon purchase? Were you involved in that decision?
No, of course not. I've never owned a share of Amazon. I'm a huge admirer of Bezos. I think he's down. He's a leader that's all by himself. He's got this stuff for amazing.
Is this a creative outlet for you?
Yes, absolutely.
You have some projects you're working on right now. Smart projects. What are they about?
Well, I'm working on projects at UCSB, University of California, Santa Barbara, and it's basically housing for the several times.
I want to shift gears and ask you a little bit about repurchasing shares. You said in the shareholder meeting, I predict we'll get a little more liberal in repurchasing shares. How much more aggressive will you get? And do you think that's going to be a problem potentially with the Democrats?
Well, a politician that's in the business of howling about something, trying to create a sense of outrage, they're always complaining about something. And it is true that a lot of people, it got so popular to purchase shares that some people repurchase them even when they were too high priced. We will never do that. We're only going to buy them back if they're too cheap. But of course, that ought to be done. If you had a partnership with 3 of your crippled relatives and one of them needed some money, wouldn't you buy out the crippled relative with the company's money? It's just simple morality. But I do think it's being overdone by some people, and it undoubtedly is being done to prop up values, which I regard as an improper use of the share repurchasing technique.
Should there be laws about that?
No. There are laws, but we shouldn't be telling people what the right price is.
Right. So I want to ask you a little bit about the social safety net we were talking about and Medicare. And do you support Medicare for all? Would that be something you'd be interested in?
Well, I'm one of the few Republicans you'll ever talk to who thinks we should have a single-payer system, but not one of the type that we're going to get. If you look at the single-payer system of Singapore, it costs 20% of what ours costs, and that's an advanced, civilized, high-income nation. And of course, the people are a lot healthier. Well, of course, I'd rather spend 80% less and have the people healthier. And of course, I'd like to have American manufacturers not have this terrible burden of unnecessary health costs that affects their competitiveness in the world. So we have an insane medical system that grew like Topsy by accident with the help of a lot of dumb governmental intervention. Not all of it was done, but some of it was. And the system is ridiculous. If a young family has to pay a $5,000 deductible to have a baby, they don't really have medical insurance. It isn't just the Medicare that's wrong. The whole damn system is going wrong. And the amount of unnecessary tests and unnecessary prolongation of inevitable death that's going on is a national disgrace. Of course, I don't like it.
Have you ever thought about moving to Singapore, Charlie?
Well, no, but I'd like to move some of Singapore's results into the United States. They have practically no deaths from opioids. They have a low crime rate. They have no debt of the whole country. Yeah, I don't know that they're doing a lot right. I wish they had our politicians in both parties would spend a lot more time studying Singapore.
But some people say, many people say it's an authoritarian government. There's a lack of freedom there.
It's a democracy. It just does such a good job that people keep re-electing it. I like that result. What the hell's wrong with that?
I was with some people just a few minutes ago, actually, and they were kind of recounting some of your zingers. Do you spend time before the meeting saying, I've got like these 6 zingers I'm going to get out during the annual meeting?
Never. Think of all the people you know that have tried to take one extra step and have fallen off a cliff. Well, then, happy note.
That's just come to you?
Yes. I think the meetings work better if they're spontaneous. If we were scripting things, I don't think people would like it.
So you and Warren don't say anything at all before you sit down?
Zero.
You have no idea what's going to happen?
That's correct.
That's fantastic. So I want to ask you just a question or two about growing up. And you were at the University of Michigan and you dropped out and joined the Army, right?
I certainly did.
And
we all did in those days.
Yeah, so how did the Army influence you?
Well, everything influences you in your past life, and yes, of course, it influenced me. I never wanted to be in a big bureaucracy. I was well toward the bottom. I finally got to be a second lieutenant in the Army. I was way down in the ranks, and nobody gave a damn what I thought about any subject. They just gave me a little job to do, and I was supposed to do it. And of course, I didn't like that as well as having a freer reign to control my own destiny and so on. So I'm much better adapted to being a capitalist operator than I am to being a cog in a bureaucracy.
Did you ever get in trouble in the Army?
Of course.
Tell us about that.
Well, my senior officers could tell I thought they were wrong, and I tried to hide it, and they could still tell. And so, of course, I never got in any trouble. But who in the hell likes a junior officer? You look over there, and he's plainly indicating he thinks you're an idiot.
So that didn't work out too well.
Well, it worked out all right. I did my work well enough, so that didn't bother me. But it was not a milieu where I was going to succeed.
Right. So how did you figure out? A lot of people look at your life and would want to emulate what you've done. Is that something that people can do? Look at someone like yourself and see your path. I mean, you're in real estate law, then investing. What do you even consider yourself? A businessman? How would you describe what you do?
Well, I don't consider myself. I think my way of thinking will work for anybody. Of trying to be very rational and disciplined. So I think that much. But to flit around to various careers and go into the other fellow's professional territory and try and outdo him and do all kinds of things like that, I think will not work for most people. And so I always tell, I'm always being visited by young men who say, I'm practicing law and I don't like it. I'd rather be a billionaire. How can you do it? And I tell them, well, I'll tell you a story. The young man goes to see Mozart. And he says, Mozart, I want to start composing symphonies. Mozart said, all right, okay, that's what we do. I was forbidden to walk through it. I walked through it all the time. And I was safer in that hobo jungle in the depths of the 30s when people were starving, practically. But I am walking around my own neighborhood now in Los Angeles at night. The world has changed on that. You'd think the crime would be less, but the crime was pretty low in those days. So anyway, so I had a very unusual bunch of experience to go through civilization in various phases, including the Greatest Recession. Well, I say it's one of the greatest recessions in 600 years in the English-speaking world. It was really something. And it was very interesting to watch. And also to watch it fixed. It was fixed by the accidental Keynesianism of World War II. Very interesting. And Hitler had fixed the Great Depression in Germany. He believed the deliberate Keynesianism. He wasn't doing it to stimulate the economy. He wanted to get even with all the people he hated. But he borrowed all this money and created all these armaments. And Hitler's Germany by 1939 was the strongest economic power in Europe, and nobody else was close. So, and you wouldn't understand that as well as I do. If you hadn't lived through it, you just could see the place gaining traction. More and more and more and more. Pretty soon it was fixed. And of course, in those days, there were all kinds of people. Most of my family, they believed in hard money-based life, gold, and not much welfare, and so on and so on. So that I was raised among fairly backward people by modern standards. But they were backward in kind of a self-reliant way that I think was helpful. I've never admitted that I wasn't raised in a more liberal establishment. I had a liberal aunt. She was really my mother's cousin, but she was the second lady dean at the University of Chicago. And she'd done her thesis on the conditions in the coal mines. And of course, she was a screaming leftist. I would be a screaming leftist, the way I observed the way the coal miners of yesteryear were treated. You couldn't be a human being with any decency in you without feeling that it was deeply improper. That grave manipulated the back of the mine and so forth. But she sent me all these Subway Babes books one every Christmas. And I always thought she was a little nuts. Which shows that if sometimes a very vivid extreme evidence misleads you on the deeper reality, you've got to be a guard on that, against that all your life. In fact, the whole trick in life is to get so that your own brain doesn't mislead you. And I have found that as a lifelong fun game. And I can't remember a time I wasn't doing it. I was not a prodigy or anything like that, but I was a prodigy in having adult interests. I was interested in what worked and what didn't and why. And I could see the very eminent people that I loved and revered were nuts in some ways, and I would say, well, I certainly like Dr. Davis, but he's a little nutty in one way, and I'm not going to be like that. And so I was very judgmental, and I think that helped me. And it also helped me that I kept changing my judgments as I learned more and more facts came in, and that created lifelong habits that were very, very useful. Another thing that really helped me is, particularly on my father's side of the family, my paternal grandfather was the only federal judge in Nebraska, the capital city of Nebraska, and he'd been there forever, and he stayed there forever after that. I think when he left, he was the longest serving federal judge in the country. And he was a brilliant man, and he'd risen from nothing. He was the child of two impoverished school teachers, and when he was raised in a little town in Nebraska, they gave him a nickel to go buy the meat, and he'd go to the butcher shop, and he would buy the parts of the animal nobody else would eat. And that's what two school teachers lived on in those days. And the very indignity of it bothered him so much that he just determined to get out of poverty and never go back. And he did. He got ahead like Abe Lincoln, educated himself in lawyer's offices and so on. He had to leave college because he couldn't pay tuition anymore. But he educated himself, and since he was utterly brilliant, it wasn't all that hard. And he had an attitude that was pretty damn extreme. I would say his attitude was that you have a moral duty to make yourself as unignorant, as unstupid as you possibly can. And that it was pretty much your highest moral duty. Maybe taking care of your family came first, but in the ranks of moral obligations, quasi-religious, he was conventionally religious, so it may have been a religious duty to him. But he really believed that rationality was a moral duty, and he worked at it, and he scorned people who didn't do it. On the other hand, as a judge, he started with the idea that why would anybody rob a train or whatever, federal crime in those days. And he was pretty hard on people who did it. And I noticed as he got older and older and older, he was willing to call a man a good man on easier terms than he started out with. And I think that was a correct development in my. By the way, when he relaxed a little, he was still pretty tough. But he did relax a little, which I thought was appropriate. But it was influenced by such people. And when the 30s came, one son-in-law was a musician. Of course, he couldn't make a living. So my grandfather didn't have that much money, sent him to pharmacy school, carefully picking a profession that couldn't fail, and found him a bankrupt pharmacy to buy and loan him the money, and my uncle was soon prosperous and remained prosperous the rest of his life. My other uncle had a bank in Stroudsburg, Nebraska, but there were 968 people in Stroudsburg, and there were two national banks, and the capitalization of my uncle's bank was $25,000. And of course, he was a lovely man, but he was an optimist, and a banker should not be an optimist. And when they closed the banks in 1933, the banking examiners came in and they said, you can't reopen. And it was the only business he had. Well, Judge Munger always saved his money, and he had a lot of good first mortgages on homes occupied by teetotaling German butchers and people he carefully pitched. Of course, he never had a default. Houses were in the right neighborhood, the people were sober and hardworking. And so what my grandfather did is take a third of his good mortgages, which was all he had, put them into the bank, and took all the lousy assets out of the bank. So he saved 2 out of 3 of his children. And I thought it was a pretty good thing to do, and very sure the way he did it. And he actually got most of his money back 10 or 15 years later out of all the lousy assets of the bank from World War II. And that was a good lesson. On the other side, my grandfather on the other side, his main business had gone broke in 1922 with all the other wholesale dry goods houses. And what he did, his son-in-law, one of them, went broke, and he cut his house in half and moved that family in. And the other family, the guy was an honors graduate of the Harvard School of Architecture, and he was very prosperous in the 20s in Omaha and had a wonderful life. And in the 30s came, the total building permits in Omaha was sometimes $25,000 a month, and that was for furnace repairs or something. There was just no work, none, zero. So he moved to California, and he lived for several years. And finally he got the county of Los Angeles to hire this great Harvard architect, and he got $108 a month after deductions. And they had him do drafting work, but they classified him as a laundry to save money. And he could actually rent a house for $25 and feed himself and drive a car. He could live on $109 a month. Amazing how poor everybody was. And what happened to that grandfather's all came to the FHA and then he civil service examination. And he was a very brilliant man. Of course, he was first in the exam. I made him the chief architect of the FHA in Los Angeles, where he spent the rest of his life. But I watched all of his family coping with all this difficulty. And I'll say this, it sounds awful, but they weren't all that unhappy. You can cope pretty well because you get used to it. That's the nice thing about the human condition. I mean, my age, you got a lot of horrible things to get used to. It's just one new indignity all the time. A friend of mine says a good day when you're old is when you wake up in the morning and nothing new hurts. So anyway, that's my experience and all. But that background, all these people were educated and civilized and generous and decent, and a lot of them had good senses of humor. And it was a pretty damn good place to grow up in. And my memory is of being surrounded by a lot of very fine people. And I think the whole thing was privilege. I look at my background as absolutely privileged. I'm proud of being an Omaha boy. I sometimes use the old saying, they got the boy out of Omaha, but they never got Omaha out of the boy.
Go to McDonald's and order the McPickle. What is wrong with you? Go to McDonald's and order the McPickle. What is wrong with you? Can I just get a McPickle?
A what, I'm sorry?
A McPickle?
Yeah, we don't have anything by that name.
Can you just make me a McPickle?
We don't have anything like that, though. We have pickles that go on a sandwich. We don't have anything called a pickle.
Can I get a bun with a shit ton of pickles, probably like 34?
No, we can't do that.
So can't I just get like a burger minus all the ingredients? Yeah, can I get a hamburger minus everything but the pickle plus 30 pickle? We'll call it the McPickle.
Hi.
Love your videos, bro. Thank you, bro. Go to McDonald's. So not too long ago.
The club isn't the best place to find the lovers, so the bar is where I go. Me and my friends at the table doing shots, tripping fast, and then
लोग आपको देख रहे लोग मुझे बोलते ये ब्लॉग मैंने इसलिए हाय गाइस
I'm excited. So we'll see how it turns out. Wish me luck. Hey, how are you? And tell the backstory. You probably really having this for dinner.
Really? It's probably been at least.
There you go.
Nice.
Not like listen up. I've never worked.
I have a big head, so
Oh wow.
yeah. Good luck.
What are you touching it? Ah. Oh, you have I don't know. How long has it been? I'm trying to remember when you left. It's been months. I told them at